With us today is Evan Becker. He is my second professional brewer on the show. Welcome to the show. How are you doing, sir?
Doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing fairly well overall, considering. I mean, life's life and things happen, but we're getting by.
Yeah, yeah, I
So,
understand that.
right. So everyone gets a little introduction. So, like I said, we have Evan Becker here. He's a professional brewer. Started off as a bartender, kind of worked his way up
Mhm.
from there to a
Yeah.
brewery, and now he's a professional brewer. He worked at, I think you say it, Terrapin Brewing. Because for those that don't know, they're like one of the largest breweries in the southeast corner. So I'm in Tennessee, and I assume you're somewhere south of me. I'm assuming.
I used to be, but
Oh, you used to be. All
now I'm
right.
north of you. Yeah.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Yeah, I'm north of you now.
Okay. So currently brewing at a Catholic brewery, which I'm just gonna make the statement now, and we'll get into this later on. I grew up Catholic,
Mhm.
no longer am, but I never knew there was a brewery stateside. I just kind of blew my mind when I saw that. Uh, Currently in school for brewing and distilling. Married, a father of a toddler, which they're always fun. Focus on melding German, English, and American beer styles together, which seems interesting and terrifying at the same time. A golfer, a home cook, and a man of faith. Did I miss
Yeah,
anything?
that's right.
So did I like everything,
Got it.
Evan? I got
I
it.
think so.
Nice. All
Yeah.
right. So, like I said earlier, I'm going to try something new. I have offered my listeners a chance to ask one of my guests a questions. So this question comes from Scott. How do you decide when to experiment versus sticking with a proven recipe?
That's a good question. Um, so a little bit of the background for me, like you said, I worked at Terrapin, which was I was a shift brewer there. So that was 0 recipe changes at all. That was you better follow the recipe right every time because we make, 10
Mm,
styles of beer and we sell them all around. And so that was I got really good at perfecting doing things right that were working well there. My new job at St. Benedict's Brewworks, I'm the head brewer, brewmaster, whatever you want
congrats.
to call it there. So I really didn't have a ton of recipe development experience when I got there. So they already had some recipes and I stuck for the most part with the recipes. Now, I think if you know something works, keep it. If it tastes good, definitely keep it. Um, but it just depends on what you're trying to get out of the beer and out of the recipe, what flavors you're going for. I would say if you have a recipe and it's what you imagine in your brain is not coming through on the flavor of the beer, then maybe you should tweak something, change something. Um, but if it tastes good and everyone likes it, stick with it, I think. I think it's good.
There you go. That's awesome, man. So, kind of like an opening question, to besides the first one I just asked, obviously. But on your application, you said you started off as a bartender at a brewery. You
Yeah.
found brewing interesting, then you started helping
Mhm.
with the brewmaster. So, what
Yeah.
really caught my eye, what you wrote, is that there is a lot more to the story that I could tell on the podcast.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
kind of walk us through like going from the bartender, and how do you even build up the nerve to approach like the brewmaster, like, hey, how can I contribute to making beer here?
Sure. Yeah. It was a really interesting situation. I was in a college town. I just moved there. I was going to school for manufacturing. Uh, I was like, "Oh, I need a gig to pay my rent." Got a job at the, brewery. Actually, I got a job at Steak and Shake first, and it was not paying me rent, so I got a job so
Good old steak and
started
shake.
bartending, made more money,
Oh,
bartending.
obviously.
So I stuck with it, and, I didn't really have a lot of friends whenever I moved there, and the owner was really nice guy, I think, and he will admit this, so I'm not talking bad about him. He's probably a better beer salesman than a brewer. He was, he took over for the brewer that was there, and he always said he was an accidental brewer. Because he wasn't supposed to be there, so he really wanted an assistant, and somebody to brew the beer, and so I'm bartending, I'm kinda talking to him, showing a little bit of interest, and then one day, I go to the library at the college, and I get a book, and it's called the Beer Bible. I don't know
Mm,
if you've ever heard of that book
mhm.
or read it, and it's basically just a book with, like, a lot of different beer styles in it and what they should taste like, basically, and, uh, and a little bit of history about them. But I just came in multiple times a week, and I would just sit at the table, and I'd be reading the beer Bible, and I would get some of his magazines, I'd just sit there and read them, and he just noticed that, and and he was like, "Hey, I think you're actually interested in brewing." He's like, "Do you wanna come in?" We would brew on Mondays. He's like, "Do you wanna come in on Monday and just see how beer is made?" "Okay." And I came in and I helped him,
Oh,
obviously for free, the first few months. I was just kinda hanging out and just being like, "What are you doing there?" And then eventually he was like, "Hey, do you wanna get paid and be the actual assistant brewer?" And I said, "Sure." And I was getting paid, I think it was $9 an hour.
okay.
It was. And, and that's whenever he hadn't s had me started cleaning tanks and cleaning kegs and everything like that. So
All the grunt work.
yeah, yeah, that's how most people start if you're
Mhm, mhm.
because really your job at the beginning is just to absorb as much knowledge as possible, kinda just like through osmosis, just being there. And you're like, "Okay," you know, you can't be trusted with, brewing a beer if you don't even know how to clean a keg. You gotta be able to clean the equipment, after. You can't just have a bunch of dirty equipment lying around.
That's very true. Yeah, I guess I can see that point. So did you do any home brewing at all before this, or do you just kinda
No.
no, none at
I
all?
know
Wow.
I'm a rare, well, it's probably less rare now for my generation because I'm, like, kind of this what was the first wave of brewers and craft brewers was kind of, like, in the '80s, I guess, and then there was another wave in the early 2000s, and now I'm part of this other wave where there's, like, 10,000 breweries in America, and so getting a brewing job, I don't think is as hard as it was 20 years ago.
Right, yeah. I mean, that's not even to mention, like you said, just the mass amount of people who went from home brewers to being brewers.
Mhm. Yeah.
Unfortunately, like a lot in my region where I'm at, like I'm in the Tri Cities of Tennessee. We've lost quite a few breweries, but I think that's just the hype has kind of dipped down, and we've all seen the trend. I have other friends who are professionals, and they've even said like even their sales have gone down the last couple of years just because it's a good thing, but a bad thing at the same time. It's a good thing, people are not drinking as much, but it's a bad thing because you make all this beer and you need to sell it. So like, just pick your poison. I guess for that part.
There's a lot of factors that go into that. Part of it is just the general economy, I think.
Mm, yeah, that's true
Part of it
too.
is the younger generation drinking trends, RTDs, spirits are, doing better,
Yeah, that's right.
you know.
Cocktails in the can. Yeah, that's a big one I've
Yeah.
noticed. Yeah.
Yeah, all those. And then, also, I just think that there is a limit to the number of breweries that America can have,
Mm-hmm.
and,
Yes.
there's just, like, there's only so much beer that people can drink and only so many different breweries that can supply that beer, and I think we may have hit that number, we may not have, I don't know, but, that is a possibility.
Yeah, I think you're the first one that brought it up that way. I guess that's a good, interesting point too, right? Yeah,
And I'm
definitely
sad
something to
that
kind
the
of think of.
breweries are closing. I'm really sad. I don't want any to see anyone's dream fail,
Yeah,
or
no, yeah,
or
that
they have to
sucks.
give up. I hate that. But you know, it is, when you're a professional, it's a business.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to think about that. And I I kind of have a different perspective because I've only been a professional brewer, which whenever I first started brewing, I would hardly call myself a professional brewer because I was still learning so much.
Oh, I
So,
bet. Yeah, I couldn't even imagine because I know it's not a 1-to-1. Some friends of mine
mhm.
who opened up their brewery and sadly just shut down back in November. Like I know, like the recipe isn't like a very or like linear progression. It's like a big leap and jump to get those flavor
For certain
profiles that you
things,
want.
yeah,
Yeah, it's just
like alpha acid
mhm.
utilization, boil utilization goes way up on the bigger scale.
Yeah, that's very
Yeah.
interesting to me. I wish I would have
Mhm.
taken the opportunity to go and brew with those guys at least once, just trying to get an idea. I mean, I get to do that. I definitely want to go to like a local brewery and kind of like spend a day just kind of checking out the process. That'd be kind of fun to do.
Well, you can come
So,
to mine.
yeah, well, you got the temple. Was you said St. Benedict's, right?
Yeah, St. Benedict's Brew Works.
I'll have to look that one up and see how far away it is.
Think it would be about 3 or 4 hours.
Well, that's not
Mhm.
horrible. Like, okay.
We're in Southern Indiana.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Yeah, 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 yeah. So I'm 4 hours from Louisville.
Yeah, and okay, so we're about an hour west of Louisville.
Okay, so maybe about 4.5 hour drive if I cut across. Yeah, yeah, we'll definitely take this topic offline. All
Yeah,
right, so
yeah.
you got the promotion. Now you're a assistant brewer. Now, did you ever make it to the brewmaster at that place, or
So unfortunately, COVID shut that place down.
sucks.
Temporarily though, they opened
Okay.
back up, but so COVID shut it down and I got I was jobless. I was doing some, kind of side gigs,
Mm-hmm.
helping install soda fountains because I,
Mm, mm-hmm.
because it's kind of like a similar skill set. So I'd go and I'd help do that over the summer, basically when COVID was happening. Um, and then which I met my wife at the first brewery that closed down, and she moved
Um,
to Chattanooga, Tennessee, so
okay. Yep.
pretty close to you.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a job at a brewery called Big River Brewery in Chattanooga,
I might
and
have
that
been to
was
that one.
a. Have you been to that one?
I think so. Yeah, sounds familiar.
It's unfortunately that one's closed now too. They were part of um the Rock Bottom and Gordon Biersch brewery network.
Okay.
They were all kind of bought up by a company, but that was a cool place. That was a brew pub. It was a 15 barrel system. Loved it. There was the head brewer there was leaving, and so his assistant, she took over as the head brewer. So I got to work under her and learn, and we had 15, 15 barrel, a couple 15 barrel tanks and a 30 barrel and two 60 barrel tanks,
Wow.
and we made IPA, lagers,
Mm-hmm.
Hefeweizens, English ales, just all kinds of good
There's a
stuff.
little bit of everything. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. It was a lot of fun. I kind of wish that I had stayed there,
Mm-hmm.
um, because I think that's the most fun I've ever had brewing.
Okay.
Is Yeah, that's my favorite size. That 15 barrel, big brew pub, big enough that you could have two brewers working together, but small enough that you're still craft and you can still experiment
Okay, I can
and
see that.
do
Yeah.
stuff
Yep.
like that.
To kind of
Yeah.
scratch that ish. Oh yeah, that's for
Mhm.
sure. Okay, so I guess now we can kind of jump forward just a little bit. So you went from Florida, Tennessee to Terrapin Brewing. Like, so how was that transition look like? How do you even how do you even learn about the job? I should say.
That was crazy. I couldn't believe that happened to me. So I I was working at the 15 barrel Big River in Chattanooga, and uh some guy called me, the HR guy for Terrapin called me
Okay.
and said, I see you're a brewer. He's like, we're hiring for brewers in Athens, Georgia, this brewery called
Mm-hmm.
Terrapin. And I was like, I'd been at the brew pub for, 15, with the 15 barrel brew pub. I'd been there for about a year.
Okay.
And kind of have to explain at the first brewery I worked for,
Mm-hmm.
I saw a job for Victory Brewing Company in Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy I worked for kinda knew that guy, and I was like, "Oh, that seems like a cool job," and he was like, "You should do it," and I was like, "No, I don't wanna do that. I'm here. I'm working for you." And then they ended up closing. So I was like whenever I got the offer for that big 100-barrel brewer job, I was like, "I have to go." You know, I always learned you should always if there's a big opportunity in front of you, you should take it.
There you go. Yeah.
So I took it, and I'm glad that I did. It was a lot, though. That was man, that was a eye-opening experience,
Yeah.
incredibly. I was like, "Oh, I thought I knew something. I don't know anything." That was like, "Oh my gosh, oh, this is a factory. This is a beer factory here." You
Oh,
know?
yeah, that makes sense. Yep. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, it was like, holy moly. So they were at the time, they were owned by Molson Coors, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, but it wasn't like Molson Coors, whenever they bought the craft breweries, they were like, "You do it, keep doing your thing. We're not gonna bother you. We're not gonna even drug test you." And apparently it's the opposite at InBev. They come in and they kinda gut everything, and they're like, "You have to do everything our way." But Molson Coors, they were like, "As long as you're making money, we're not gonna
Okay.
bother you." Um, so that part was cool, but also just having access to their resources and their brewing knowledge and
Right.
their knowledge on, okay, this is how we know that this malt is good or consistent, or this is how we do all these tests on malt to make sure that it's gonna give us the right flavor, and the same with hops. They had these huge hop contracts, so whenever we bought hops, we kinda tagged along with them,
Mhm.
and we got to get, first not first pick maybe, but maybe, like, 3rd or 4th pick on the type of hops that we
Okay.
wanted
Oh, that's
for our
exciting. Yeah.
yeah, for our brewery. So that was just the access to all of that. You can't beat that kind of access to
Mhm. Mhm.
such a high quality ingredients.
Yeah,
So
that's yeah, yeah, I guess the science would be pretty fascinating too. Like, I don't have a science degree or anything. I'm a programmer by trade, right? So I guess I'm a computer
cool.
scientist, but so I work really hard to be lazy. So that's basically what
Yeah,
I tell people. I try to solve a problem so I don't ever have to solve it again.
yeah.
But I think I've had a couple scientists on here. Some have like chemical backgrounds,
Mhm.
engineers and stuff like that. It's just I find that very fascinating. I find that very difficult as well too, because like I couldn't imagine because we'll get from a home brewer perspective, I'm sure it happens where you're at as well too. So let's say I buy sauce hops.
Mhm.
Sauce hops 2024 was let's say 7.5 of acid.
Mhm.
This
Which is
year
really good for sauce.
right, but this
That's good.
year's it's 9.5. So like there's
Yeah.
that huge difference in this. So like if I want to remake whatever kind of lager I want to use with that, now I have to go through
Mhm.
go through a calculator, figure out well how much to add, when to add, so stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
by having that access to that stuff, do you find, or did you find rather, when you're buying your hops, grains, whatever it is, that you were closer to previous year's crops, or did you still have to fight that big difference between every season, just like everyone else does?
So whenever I worked at Terrapin, there was a big crop shortage actually. It was a very
Okay.
bad year for barley while we were there. And so that does a couple things, raises the price, and also your extract goes down. So you're gonna not gonna hit your gravity points as easy. And kernel plumpness, how big the kernel is, that goes down. So we're brewing 100-barrel batches, huge louder tone and all this stuff. And so that makes you at some point you're really concerned about kind of like the engineering part of the brewing process whenever it's that big. Just how the mechanics and like fluid dynamics and how things flow and heat exchange and all that. You're worried, all those things have to work and you have to be worried about them. And then you also have that analytical side from the chemists who are looking at protein content of malt, free amino nitrogen, all this stuff, yeast assimilable nitrogen, all that stuff that like yeast health is a big part of, and we were really, really focused on yeast health. That was a big one for us because yeast is really expensive
Mhm.
at the at the pro scale, even more. I mean, the homebrew scale, if you get liquid yeast, it's very expensive.
Yes,
I
it
I
is.
think,
Mhm.
it can be a large percentage of the cost of making a beer.
It's almost
And
a
so
third, I'd say. Almost a
yeah,
third.
yeah,
Yeah, so
absolutely. So and I'm on the little 3 barrel system now at St. Benedict's, and I'm looking at our beer costs, and I'm like, if I bought a fresh liquid yeast pitch for every batch of beer that we brewed, uh, it would be half the cost of the beer.
Hmm.
Of
Wow.
most of our beers, not our
Yeah,
hazy IPAs and stuff,
right.
but yeah, so we managed yeast, we grew our own yeast,
Oh,
and
that's
we
fascinating. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, so we had a chemical we had a biochemical lab, and
Mhm.
they could test this how many cells were in the yeast slurry and how many cells we needed, and we could grow it up, and we'd reuse yeast up to 15 times,
I
15
was
different
just
batches
gonna
of
ask that
beer.
question because I was reading
Yeah,
articles like most craft breweries, I think do like 3 to 5 or like a generation,
yeah.
but then they kinda stop because, like, you're just not getting, like, the sell kinda like you once were anymore. So sometimes you can get off flavors, you can even get, like, cloudiness and lagers that you may not want, stuff like that. So there's a definitely, like, a stopping point. But still, I mean, if you take, like, again, I don't know what it costs you per se, but for me, if I spend 13 $14 on a packet of yeast, and if I could use that yeast 3 times,
Mhm.
essentially, I'd saved, $26.
Yeah,
So,
which, kinda at the homebrew scale, the juice isn't really worth the squeeze
yeah.
for reusing yeast because of how much work it takes to keep it clean, and you have to have a usually you have to have, like, a separate yeast storage vessel, and
Mhm.
you have to feed it. You have to use it within 7 days, really. So, most homebrewers aren't brewing every week.
No, not really.
So, yeah, so that makes it a little bit not as worth it for, um, on the homebrew side, but on
Mhm.
the even for my scale, I brew 3 times a week, so I'm like, yeah, I'm using yeast, and off if I harvest yeast from 1 batch, I can pitch that into 3 different batches and have enough for
Oh, that's
3
really
different
cool.
batches.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's really neat, man. That's really cool, man. I like that. So I guess it's kind of like an advice question for someone who's a home brewer or even a beer enthusiast who's thinking about going pro. Besides the path you took, like what other paths can they take to get into like being a brewmaster or even assistant?
Um, keep homebrewing. Absolutely keep homebrewing. Whenever I got this job, I learned really fast. I was like, I wish I had homebrewed more because I only knew the specific ingredients from all the places I worked at and what they did, and I never really delved into all these ingredients and what flavors they can give and everything like that. So I would brew a lot of smash beers. That's what
Uh-huh.
I would do. It's a
Hmm.
single malt,
They're
single
fun.
hop, and then I would brew kinda like do like brewlosophy style beers, like, okay,
The short and shotties.
yeah, yeah, kinda short and shotties, and like, okay, I don't know what C40 tastes like. So I'm gonna make a beer that's, 90% two-row and 10% C40 with low hop character,
Mm,
so I can really just go, "Okay, that's the flavor that C40 gives to a beer." Um,
mm,
so keep home brewing, and then, I would get a job at a brewery, because brewery work is not easy, actually. It's hard, especially at the really big scale. If you wanted to go, like work a Terrapin or something, at that point, there was guys working for them that, were part of a union. So,
wow. Yeah.
yeah, there's a brewers union, and they're union guys, and most of what they're doing is maintenance, and stuff like that. But um, I would get a job at a brewery, just see what it's really like every day because it's wet, it's
Hmm.
hot if it's hot outside, it's cold if it's cold outside. Most breweries are not air conditioned. It's a lot of bending over, it's a lot of lifting heavy
Yeah, a lot of
kegs.
physical activity. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of unloading a lot of heavy bags of grain. You know,
Mm.
it's hard work. It's manual. It's a lot of manual labor. I probably spend, 5% of the time doing the fun part, which is like making a new recipe. You know, that's the fun part. And it's a lot of cleaning. Obviously,
Oh,
everyone knows
lots
this.
of cleaning.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So and I kind of I don't look forward to cleaning a fermenter or cleaning the brew house or anything like that, but it's part of the job. It's what you got to do. So,
You know what you gotta do. Yeah. So I've said this pretty much every podcast so far, so I must keep saying it. So like I tell people I have a cleaning hobby that produces beer
yeah, that's
because you just
man.
clean so much and you sanitize
Yeah.
so much. Like so, just like it's things
Yeah.
you just have to do. Like as when I first started this hobby, I used to like preach it like the gospel. I would tell everybody about it, how much fun it was, but I'd only tell them about like the brew day and consumption. I wouldn't tell them about all the other stuff. And I was like, well, no, I need to tell them the
Yeah.
truth. I
Yeah.
was like,
Well,
first I would ask them, I
you
was
don't
like,
have
do
to
you mind
lead
doing dishes?
don't lead with it.
Right. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah. So
But it
so I'm
is a
very
lot. It
honest.
is a
Yeah.
lot. It's so important too.
Yeah.
It's so
Oh, it has
important
to
to
be.
be
Yeah.
good
I
at
mean, you're
cleaning.
storing
Yeah.
food basically, right, for a period of
Yeah.
time. And you want that food
And
to
you
last for a period of time.
and brewing is, you know, a lot of people are like, "Oh, what's brewing in the fermenter?" And I'm like, "Well, brewing is just getting the wort made. That's the only part that's actually really the brewing part. The next part is the cellaring part,
Yeah.
which is arguably more important
Oh, I
than the
agree.
brewing parts. So I think it's really important to, know that what we're doing is we're making a perfect environment for a microorganism to thrive.
Mm. Hmm.
But it's got to be the specific one that we want, and only that
Yeah.
one.
Right. Yeah. 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 That's true. Yeah.
Yeah,
I've heard
little
this from
sugar mushroom.
I think Steve, the perma brewer, told me like you can make an okay wort. But when you get to the cold side of stuff, that's where you can actually make the magic happen for like the most part. That's where
Yeah.
you can actually make it turn into an okay work to be like a phenomenal product all said and done. So I've kind of taken that kind of philosophy to heart because I didn't get into cold side until about what is this, 2026? So maybe almost 2 years ago.
Hmm.
But my basement stayed around 68, 70 degrees. So I just fermented at that. I just made ales.
Which is
When I got,
usually, I mean, that's pretty good. If you're
yeah,
homebrewing, I think that's pretty good. I think you can get away with that.
you can and you can't. There is a fine line though too. I feel like because I've been to a few different beer festivals and I've talked to them about that. And since I've starting my own little cold side stuff, my beers actually taste a lot better than what they were
But yeah,
previously, right? So
and more consistent, I bet.
yes, they are. So yeah, so
Yeah.
I think starting off, don't worry about it because it can be pretty expensive to get into cold side. Um, but then once you have the money, figure out a cold side solution or
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
or get a spinning valve and do everything under pressure. Figure out something.
You can do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is an option. I don't think it's a complete option, but it's a good,
I
in
think good
between
start.
kind of. Yeah. Yeah.
I made some pretty decent loggers with it. I think my Mexican cerveza turns out really, really well with that. I did put it on cold side once and didn't taste too great. I like it under
Yeah.
pressure. So I'm not sure
Oh,
exactly what was slightly different between.
so you did it cold side under pressure? You did
No, no,
both?
no. So I did it. No, I
Uh,
did it under pressure. The first time I
mhm.
really liked it, and then I did cold side, so I just had it in my little like fermenting chambers and stuff like that, and it wasn't as good as I thought it was under pressure.
I mean,
So
did you use Mexican lager yeast?
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I've been playing with this recently at our
Mm-hmm.
brewery is there's some really cool lager yeast that actually have these nice kind of esters that come up whenever you
Mm-hmm.
ferment them warmer. And
Mm-hmm.
they're not always
Okay.
necessarily going to be this kind of like sulfur, or
Yeah.
acetaldehyde bomb if you ferment them warm. Some of them
Right.
I used Augustiner lager yeast. I
Okay.
fermented a beer at 65 degrees Fahrenheit with that, and it smelled so good. It was fruity and
Okay.
everything, and I was like, "Well, this lager yeast is great at higher temperatures."
Right.
So, it might have been that you like the the yeast
To be a little bit
character
warmer.
from
Yeah.
that lager. Yeah,
Probably did.
which
Yeah.
I know lagers aren't so there's not supposed to be a lot of yeast character in lagers, but you can have a little bit.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I guess I'm still trying to learn. Gotta. I have a board up in front of me. I look at all the time. Like I have all these things I want to make. Like the one I've complained about the most here recently is my cloche. I think
Mhm,
my grain bill's fine. I bought a German yeast strain by Cellular
mhm.
Science. I think it was a more beer or something like that. I was just trying to fill in. So I was trying to hit that $79 mark so I get free shipping. Basically, I was
Yeah,
like, all right,
yeah,
so
yeah.
I'll use this. I was like, and I know cloche is an ale, so okay, so I fermented at ale temperature, so I did like 65 degrees.
Okay, yeah, that's good for
So
Kolsch.
I poured myself a pint, and I'm like, this don't taste right. It's not bad. It's good, better than my
Yeah,
other ones I've made, but it's not quite a close. So I read the back of the package of the yeast, which I didn't do to begin with, and it's lager yeast, and it best performs under like 55 to 58. And I'm like, ah, so I wonder if I'm getting a lot of the yeast flavors from the close. I'm not really caring from that strand. I'm not really careful with my close.
you gotta be careful with those.
Yeah, lesson
Sometimes
learned.
yes, sometimes those yeast companies, sometimes you gotta, because I talk to them directly,
Okay.
being a professional, and so I'm like, I tell them, I'm like, "This is what I want out of my yeast. This is how I want it
Okay.
to perform. Can you provide a strain that does that, or can we work?" Recently, delved starting into kinda going, "Okay, can we kinda, like, make a strain that or, like, maybe try to blend 2 strains together to get what I want
Okay.
out of it?"
Right.
Um, but Kolsch is like, man, that's like the yeast is, I think, the most important part of that beer.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I
Yeah.
think you have to have that Kolsch yeast to get
Yeah.
that kind of, like, pear,
Mm-hmm.
fruity, a little bit of it in there, and if you're just, do it with a neutral lager yeast, it's probably not gonna taste like it.
Dude,
Right.
just a beer. That's all it tasted like.
Yeah,
just,
yeah, yeah, it's not
just a
bad.
beer.
Yeah,
No, not bad. Just wasn't
yeah,
exactly what I wanted. But again, like I have a fridge over here that I have a bunch of yeast in there. I just got to get through. I got to start using it up with something. You get shelf
yeah.
life and all that good
Is it
stuff.
liquid yeast or dry yeast?
No, it was dry yeast. I prefer dry
Okay.
yeast. For one, it's cheaper, obviously.
Yeah.
Most of the beers for the competitions I've entered, I've won with dry yeast.
Yeah. Dry
So
yeast is good.
I'm just gonna stick with it. Now I'm gonna make a Heffy. Not this
Nice.
weekend. I'm gonna make a strawberry margarita goza this weekend for another competition.
Ooh, that sounds yummy.
But I do have some liquid yeast for like the Heffy because every time I make a Heffy, I never get banana nor clove out of it. Every time I use dry
Really?
yeast. So I'm gonna try liquid this time
Ah,
around and see if I get something different with this.
only
Only
pitch.
brewing 6 year or excuse me, only brewing 6 times a year. Like you only get so many beers styles to make. So
Sure. So Heffy is, that's interesting that you say that because that's another one that I've had no luck with dry yeast on as well,
okay, all
on
right.
the professional scale. And I've looked into it a lot, and
Uh-huh.
well, from what my understanding is, you have to underpitch your yeast and ferment it at a warmer temperature if you want a lot of banana.
Yes, that's what I want. Yeah.
So I would only pitch half of the liquid yeast into it.
Okay. All right. I'll
If
have to think about that.
if I yeah, or maybe do 75% if you're nervous. But I was trying really hard at our brewery to make a really good hefe, and until I quit oxygenating my wort, and
Hmm.
I pitched a 1 barrel pitch into a 3 barrel batch of yeast, and it was awesome. Everyone loved it.
Okay, so this is a personal question. So if I were to use, because I have the White Labs heavy strand, so if I only pitch
Mhm.
half of it, can I
Is
still
it
save the other half? It's like
Yeah,
in the pouch.
probably.
Okay,
Yeah,
so it's just
probably, just make sure you sanitize it really good, and, trying to think if there's some way that you could put it. I don't know. If you could put it in a bag or something like that, maybe. A
oh
sanitized
okay.
bag. Like a
I
Ziploc
mean,
bag, and dip
Right.
that bag into sanitizer and then dump it out and then put the yeast in there.
So I do have a vacuum sealer I have as well too. So maybe I can do something like that as well too. Maybe.
That's
Yeah, okay.
possible. I've only ever used that with dry yeast, but
Yeah, because I hate to throw it again because I think it cost me like I think it was $15 for the stupid thing. So I hate to have to throw away it.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Yeast is expensive. It's
it
so expensive.
is. It's everything's
Yeah.
going up in price. Grain has gone up. I've noticed. Hops gone up.
Yep. Yeah.
It's just
For
I don't
for
know.
everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine at your
Yeah.
scale. But you've brought up your current company a couple of times now. So let's go ahead. Let's jump into this Catholic brewery, which, like I said, I've never heard about. Like I said, I grew up
Mhm.
Catholic. I was Catholic all the way up until about 5 years ago or so, something like that. No, maybe not that. Maybe 3 years ago. Me and the wife, we decided to join a different denomination. It seems to work out great for us. We both have different, religious backgrounds. So it's called St. Benedict's. It's obviously somewhere in Indiana. My first question, like,
Somewhere.
how long have they been around?
So this brewery, we just did our 10-year anniversary last year in October. So I've been there for 2 years.
Congratulations. Um,
Thank you.
so I guess the other question I have, so with this brewery, like, what is their mission and how does faith play into it?
So we the story's pretty interesting. The owner of the brewery was a studying to be a Jesuit priest, and there's actually a what do they call it? A seminary school 30 minutes south of where we're located. We're located on a monastery, so we're all sisters and nuns is where we're at. So the owner was studying to be a priest. This was 20, 30 years ago. And then he quit to become a news reporter. He had a career as a news reporter for 20 years. And then he decided to open a brewery. And he was very well, he's very well connected still with all the religious
Hmm.
people in the
Hmm.
area. So he thought it'd be cool to have a Catholic themed brewery that was actually on monastery grounds. So
Hmm.
we're not an abbey brewery because the abbey's the male monks. So
Hmm.
we're a monastery brewery, and we're not a truly Benedictine brewery. Um,
So
like
what do you
as
mean by
in the
that?
Benedictine order.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So, but we're the monastery we're located on is the Saint Benedict's monastery. So, so we rent the space from the nuns and the sisters, and we give them a portion of our profits or our revenue.
Okay.
And so we have events. We have theology on tap there. Sometimes we have connections with. We have a lot of priests like coming
Hmm.
there.
Hmm.
There's bishops come through there.
Interesting.
The
Yeah.
Yeah, the Pope hasn't come through yet, but that's our we're trying to get
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Why not? That'd be kind of cool. Yeah.
It
I
would
mean,
be really cool.
so he's since he's from the States, so that'd be really interesting for sure.
Yeah, yeah, it'd be
Um.
really neat. So yeah, it's pretty cool. We have 3 tap rooms. We have one on the monastery grounds. We have 2 other ones in 2 other cities kind of in the same county. So
Oh, okay. So that's a little diverse. Um. Do you get a lot of like parishioners there to come and drink or
but yeah, so yeah, the
total
big
Catholics?
Catholic church there. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Catholic's the best religion if you want to drink beer, I think.
That and
um,
Lutherans.
yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah, definitely. There's a lot of those around here too. One of my
Yeah.
best friends, he's
Yeah.
Lutheran. And yeah, he.
That's what being the wife are now, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah. So
So,
not a big difference.
not really. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, no, not
Mhm.
really. But yeah, we get a lot of, there's a big church in that town, and if there's anything, if there's a wedding, if, when church gets out on Sunday, people come, if there's, you know, any feast day, people like coming there. A lot of people,
That's really
funerals,
cool.
they're like after a funeral, they're like, let's go get a
Yeah.
beer.
Hmm.
So,
Definitely
yeah,
different than when I
there's,
was growing up, but yeah, it's definitely more like a celebration of life than like a morning dinner or something like that, right? So,
yeah, yeah.
so
So yeah, we,
I
we, we do a lot.
mhm.
I do want to mention one. Yeah, sorry to
Go for
interrupt
it.
you.
No, you're fine.
Um, we are starting a distillery too, in the Abbey I was talking about, 30 minutes south. We're building a distillery there right now. So, and that
That's
was
really
actually
cool.
approved by the monks, and they are actually a part of that business.
Okay. So I'm asked this question. So when the distillery takes off, because it takes X amount of years or whatever for you to get bourbons or whatever you're trying to go for, do you see any future in doing like any barrel aged
Oh yeah.
beverages? Oh yeah,
Oh
there
yeah,
you go.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've been really I've done barrel aged before when I was in Chattanooga. We did barrel aged, and when I was at Terrapin, we did barrel aged, and barrel aging at Terrapin was
Interesting.
yeah, that was awful at Terrapin.
I was
Imagine
gonna.
having to fill that many barrels.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. When I'm thinking about Chattanooga, so Tennessee has a 10.1 ABV law. So,
They do.
uh,
Yep,
so how
that's right.
did you guys get around the barrel aged in Chattanooga, or did you just say everything was 10.1 and just
Yeah, there's a lot
okay,
of, there's a lot
fair
of
enough.
that going on where it's
Okay,
just like, okay, is the TTV gonna come with their alchemister and test our on-site beer?
hardly ever.
There, I mean, I'm sure they've done it before, but
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
feel like they do it to people that abuse it, right? So
yeah. And so most of our beers were probably only got up to like 11 or 12% anyway with
yeah,
the barrel age. So we did a Belgian quad in a barrel that was kind of popular.
haze, yeah,
Yeah.
I like
Really good
quads.
beer. One of my favorite beers.
Yeah, because like some barrels give it like a really nice like caramel note to some of them, especially when they start to warm up and stuff like that. Oh, they're so
Yeah.
yummy. Oh, so yummy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want. I was thinking this would be off topic, but I want to go to Fobab. I've never been. My buddy goes all the time. If you don't know what Fobab is Festival of Barrel Aged Beers. It's in Chicago. Happens in
Okay. Yeah.
November. I think it's the first weekend in November, maybe second weekend. So it's all
Nice.
these brew houses or craft breweries all kind of get together and you just get all these barrel aged beers. So you're from 10% to 20 some odd percent beers. If you do go, and I'm sure you know this, I mean, you seem like a smart young man, but they like to pour, or they're heavy pours. So instead of giving you like 2 ounces, like they're supposed to they give you like 4 or 5 ounces.
Oh, man, of
Oh,
20% beers.
right. Yeah. So after like, 6 or 7 of those, you're pretty much done for the day, but you're still pounding anyway. So don't be
Sounds
afraid to dump.
fun. I
Yes.
want I want to go. I would
Yes.
love to go.
I don't know if I don't think I'll be able to make it this year because I'm going to Homebrew Con. So that's taking all of
Okay.
my money this year, which is in June.
Mhm.
Maybe next year, the airport that's by me, they're going to have direct flights from the Tri Cities, which is a very tiny airport, all the way up to
Yeah.
Chicago. And the
Wow.
following year, I'll get up there. Then I'll be an old man.
It's only a 4.5 hour drive for me, so
Yeah, it's
it's
not
not
too
that
bad.
bad.
Yeah, you can go up there, go buy
Yeah.
some, get some. There's one if you can come across if you haven't tried it. Again, I'm so off topic. I like it. It's one of my favorite ones. My buddy gets it all the time. And I think it's called like uh Vlad versus Sharks versus Vampires or something like that. The
Oh,
artwork is
okay.
crazy. It is
Yeah.
it's a magical trip. If you drink it like
Yeah.
when it was first cold, it's like all these weird notes. It was pretty good. But as you let it sit, I was like, man, this thing you can sip on for like over an hour, and it just the complexity opens up, and it's all sorts of fun stuff. And, oh man, it's such a good beer. Of course, I can't get it here, right? Because Tennessee laws.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. Oh, I
Unfortunately,
forgot that about Tennessee. I totally I
yeah,
think I blacked it out of my mind whenever I
yeah.
was there.
Because
I forgot that. And
did you
that's
ever get
because of Jack Daniels, isn't it?
I think it partly has to do with it. Yeah, again, that's a
Yeah.
weird story too. Because for those that don't know, Jack Daniels is made in a dry county, so people that make it and live in that town can't drink it.
Yeah.
So go figure.
So weird.
So weird. Have you ever been
Yeah.
to Burial in North Carolina, in
But
Asheville?
yeah, I've been
Okay,
to
yeah, yeah,
Burial a few times. Yeah.
yeah.
They make
I
really good beer.
I go there every. Don't go there as often as I like to, but at least a few times a year. 'Cause I'm like 45-minute drive from Asheville, so I don't take me long to
Yeah,
get there. Yeah, so
yeah.
I'm super close there, right? So I'm in the Smoky Mountains. If that gives you any better idea of kind of where I'm at, like the Appalachian Trail kind of runs through my town, so like all that fun stuff.
I know exactly where you're at. I had a
Yeah.
my supervisor at Terrapin, she was from Johnson City.
Okay, I'm quarter mile.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So she showed me on the map where she was from and everything. And I
Uh,
was like, oh, that's cool. It looks pretty out there. You know,
it
I'm from
is
Indiana, so I see mountains and I'm
right.
like,
Yeah, I'm originally from Flint, Michigan, so we moved down here 20 years ago. So I
okay,
went from like the
yeah,
city life to very small town living, which was very, very interesting. Like, yeah, it was definitely a culture shock to me.
yeah,
Wasn't used to be by all these people waving at me all the time because you just didn't do that
yeah,
in Flint.
yeah,
Um, if you waved, it wasn't the very nice wave you gave to people. So I just, but I like it. I've been here 20 years now. I raised my family. It's been great to us. I don't plan on moving anywhere else unless my kids keep moving further away. Then I'll have to find like a central location to be
yeah,
close to them somehow. But
yeah,
so how did you end up at Saint Benedict? I don't think we covered that quite yet. We kind of talked about your
yeah.
trip around, but how did you actually get there?
Yeah, so yeah, for the first part of my brewing career, I'm from Evansville, which is the southern tip of Indiana. And I kind of went eastbound and down through Kentucky, Tennessee, Georgia. And then so when I was working at Terrapin, I got another job offer
Mm,
to
nice.
work for actually a vinegar factory of all places.
Okay.
And yeah, it was a Dutch company that was building their first vinegar factory in America. So I was like, "I don't know. I'm a brewer, I don't wanna make vinegar. That's, like, the opposite of what I'm
Hmm.
trained to do?" Then they told me how much money they were gonna pay me, and I said, "Oh, okay, then." Shocked. So I helped them build a vinegar factory,
Okay.
I did that for a year. Huge facility. I mean, way like 10 times the size of Terrapin. It was crazy. And, then me and my wife got pregnant, and we had a little guy.
Hmm.
And he was about, I think, 3 or 4 months old, and we had been talking, we were like, "We wanna have more kids, we're 9 hours away, a 9-hour drive away from parents," and it's kinda like coming home to try to do the holidays and stuff
That's
like
fun.
that. Yeah, and so we were just like I was like, "If there's an opportunity for me back home, I think I'm gonna take it."
There you go.
Yeah, if something pops up. I was like, I'm not gonna force it. It's gotta be a good opportunity for me, something that I really wanna do. And, yeah, I just was on Facebook one day, Indiana on tap jobs, St. Benedict's was hiring a brewmaster, messaged them, talked to Vince, we negotiated a salary that would work for me, and we moved.
That was exciting. Yeah. I'm sure
Mhm.
the grandparents excited to get have you guys back home and all that
Absolutely.
fun stuff. But yeah, just those stories that you can share with your kids as you get older. Like, oh yeah, we've lived all over the place. Daddy did all this fun stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I like to think that I'm an interesting person to my kids.
You will be until a certain point, but that just happens.
Yeah, yeah,
Just how it goes. Like my parents were
mhm,
interested to me till I got to like teenage years. I'm like, okay, whatever.
yeah, it
just
happens.
it just happens. Yeah. So I kind of want to switch gears just a little bit. Like, so another thing come by in your form you fill out, like your the melding of styles, right? So you want to take the
Mhm,
German, the English, and the American. Um, so I'm trying to think of where do I want to start? So let's start with the granted we don't live in Germany, so like the purity law is not a big thing here, but there are some people that
mhm.
still like to follow the purity law when they
Sure.
make like the German beers. So how are you navigating that bridge from the German side of things to let's skip English for now, but to meld the German and the American side together.
So that's really cool. Whenever I started working at St. Benedict's, I'm like, we got to make lagers. That's a thing now. So I'm like, we got
Yeah,
to
true.
make some lagers. And so I really wanted to make a German Pilsner.
Okay.
Because I had been to Germany, I drank Pilsner there, and I was like, this is real. This isn't, Miller Lite Pilsner. This is like a real beer, a, a full beer with a full flavor that is yummy, and like if it's a hot day and you want some refreshing, like a German Pilsner's pretty good beer for that. So I made a German Pilsner recipe and I made it all traditional decoction mash,
Oh, yeah.
Wireman malt, so all that stuff, Hallertau through
Hmm.
hops and everything. And it was good. I liked it. Um, People liked it too, but I was like, and this is something that I think, professional and even homebrewers should think of is, just because you did everything traditionally and you had all the traditional ingredients and you
Hmm.
did everything right and all that stuff, you did it perfect.
Hmm.
You can still make a beer that's like doesn't resonate with your taste buds or
Hmm.
the local
Hmm.
taste, around you. And the German Pilsner I made wasn't bad. People definitely liked it. But I was like, I think it's just missing something. So I started adding American hops into the recipe.
Okay.
And it's American and German hops. So more the bittering side, the flavor hops are kind of they're American hops. It's actually El Dorado that I
Okay.
use for it. And the later hops are Saaz and a little bit of Mittelfrüh and Tettnanger as Whirlpool hops. And I
Hmm.
also do a cool pool on the German Pilsner, which is definitely not traditional for German Pilsner style. So cool the Whirlpool down to like 170 degrees and
Hmm.
then add the hops in so you don't get all that isomerization of the alpha acids, all that bitterness, and you're mostly just getting aroma.
So what's the IBU on that lager? I'm just kind of curious.
Oh, I think here, I have all my recipes up here. Let me look at it real quick. I was like, I'm probably gonna get a question like that, and I
I'm
will
just kind
be
of
able
curious
to
because I mean, you
answer
listed
it.
off some pretty interesting, hops, right? So,
Yeah,
so I was
let's see.
just kind of
This one, that recipe was coming in at 33 IBU,
okay.
but I do not calculate Whirlpool hop IBUs whenever the Whirlpool is that cool. I just I just put all the alpha acids for my Whirlpool hops to 0 in my Beersmith program
Okay.
because I don't think you really get lots of bitterness from it. You get hop flavor, I think, but I don't think you really get super bitterness from those hops.
Yeah, so that's interesting. Yeah, because I've played around because I use Brewfather for my thing, and
Hmm.
I've played around with that quite a bit, trying to do like hop stand. I've tried to do like a few different things, and like in the IBUs never really changed. Like I've even put like astronomical amounts. So like I put 10 ounces of whatever, and the IBUs still stay
Yeah,
the same. I'm like, okay, so is something not going on there besides is it just aroma that I'm gonna get? Of course, it'd be pungent aroma, obviously, and 10
yeah,
ounces of whatever. Like,
and you'll get flavor too. I feel like Whirlpool
mm,
hops, you get. I think people discount the actual flavor you
so
get
you
from
get
Whirlpool hops too.
okay, so not much of
You
the
definitely get
bitters, like you
aroma.
said. Yeah.
Aroma's huge and it's big, but you definitely get some flavor. I think the most hop flavor I get is from Whirlpool hops.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't make a I don't do a whole lot of whirlpool because like brew in a bag. I mean, I guess I probably could after I obviously had to remove the bag, but um, I'm trying to think of the style that I make that I would actually would like to do whirlpool on. I made
It
an
would be like
orange.
flame out hops
Okay,
or
yeah,
whatever,
okay. So I've done flame outs a
Yeah.
couple of times. I
Yeah.
was thinking like I've done like an orange creamsicle. I think
Mhm.
I've done flame out. I did a flame out on that. I hindsight being 2020, obviously. Like I use Galaxy hops, and it smells good
Oh,
with
I
Galaxy
love
hops.
Galaxy.
But
Galaxy's
I
awesome. If you get
think it
good Galaxy
I think it would have been better with Citra, though, honestly, overall, because I was missing a lot of the orange flavor that I wanted, right? It was
or
good,
Mandarina.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. So again, like,
Galaxy
beer I made, I just haven't made
Galaxy, I
again.
get more passion fruit from Galaxy.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, and it's good. Galaxy's also a really good haze positive hop. A
Mm,
lot of those, land down under hops
hmm.
they're really good for making hazy IPAs because they have more polyphenols in them than American hops.
So
So if you want that,
I just read that the other
yeah,
day. I made the beer I just drank was my hazy pale ale for a homebrew
nice.
competition, right? So I ended up using don't quote me, I can't remember the top of my head now, but flaked oats maybe I might have
Yeah,
used for it. Uh,
but yeah,
but I used Alena hops. I think I say it is
okay.
ELANI.
Oh,
Um,
yeah, yeah. I think it's Alani,
it
but I might be
it
wrong.
can be that.
Yeah,
I'm horrible at pronouncing things.
yeah.
I it sounded
Some different
interesting, like
ones.
tropicals. I'd have like there's a little bit of white peach notes, this, that, and the other.
Hmm.
It's really good. I wish I would have let it dry hop for the full 5 days. I only did 3 days 'cause I got a little nervous. I was like, I'm just gonna pull it. I was gonna crash and I was be done with it. Uh, Again, I'm getting off topic. I'm talking we're talking about beer too much. I think that's the problem.
Well, I don't think we can talk about beer too
Never
much
right?
on the brewing podcast.
Broadcast exactly. All right, so we covered that. Okay, so I guess I kind of want to get into a little bit of let's see. Oh, where's it at? It's, okay, you're schooling. So are you
Hmm.
currently still in school for brewing and distilling?
Yes,
Like how much
yes.
further do you have to go on that?
So it's a certificate program, so it's 4 classes that I have to take, and
God.
I am towards the end of my 2nd class.
Oh,
First class I
congrats.
took was, thank you. It was, brewing science and technology, and I loved that class. It was a lot of it, parts of it was stuff I already knew, but there was a lot of stuff I didn't know. So I learned a lot in that class. And now I'm taking a distilling, wine, and brewing science class. So I'm learning a lot about wine making and distilling and more in depth about brewing as well.
It's really cool. Yeah, that's I've I've kicked the can a little bit. So my local university, East Tennessee State University, has a brewing science class. I believe it was founded by Stephen Callahan, who owns Tennessee Hills around here and all that kind of stuff. Um, they really don't have the time to do it, but if I had the time, I would definitely like just try out just to learn more. I think I want. I don't know if I don't want to go pro. I already know that. But
Yeah.
I would like to know more about the science behind it. Like, um, I'm not a great reader, right? I don't retain a lot of stuff from what I read. I like videos. I like being
Hmm.
talked to in person. That's why I enjoyed
Yeah.
these conversations with you guys. I've learned so much stuff from everybody so far. It just blown my mind. Like just things I never thought about trying or thinking about. And hopefully this is happening to everyone else who's watching and listening to the podcast. But it's just phenomenal. So congrats on receiving the first certificate. I was done with the second one, and two more to go,
Yeah.
and then you'll be a
Yeah.
certified brewing distilling expert, is what I'll call you.
Yeah. It's crazy how much, I mean, man, you can always learn more. If you're one of those
Yeah.
brewers who thinks I figured it out, it's like, okay, man, there's so much. I mean, there are core brewing concepts that
Yes. Yeah. Mm.
kind of stay no matter what. And once you learn those, yeah, you've learned those concepts, but there's so many ingredients, there's so many combinations
Variables.
of
Yeah. Variables.
things,
So many
so
variables.
many
Yeah.
variables. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, you
So
could get
cool.
lost for years on just figuring out your water.
Oh,
You could just get
100%.
lost.
Yes.
You know?
100%. That's why I use distilled.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Do you
Yeah.
add salts back
Oh, yep.
into it?
I do. Yep.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good, good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always do.
Yeah.
I try to do depends on the beer I'm making. Obviously, the one I brought up earlier, like that strawberry margarita, goes. It's not going to be per style, obviously, but I want to get close
Yeah.
enough, right? So
Yeah.
I want to make sure I get the right calciums and gypsum and all that, whatever I need in there to get it close. Well, actually, no, I don't. And the reason why I say that because I'm using acid malt, so I want the pH to drop, so I don't want to add too many salts to it. I'm not a big sour individual. I don't mind tart beers. So Gozas are
Yeah,
okay, but I like a more
yeah,
tart than sour. So mine's going to hit about 4 on a pH level. So
it's
it's going to be
yeah,
tart. I'm not sure. I'm using strawberry puree, so it has
okay,
maybe still have that tartness to it, but I'm sure there'd probably be a subtle sweetness to the front end. Again, don't know. I never made it, but I'm just kind of thinking forward, right? So I'm only going to start off with because I'm doing a 3.5 gallon batch because I wrote 3 gallon batch. I've reduced from 5 gallons. I don't because I don't still drink as much. So I'm going to use
hmm
6 ounces of puree.
okay,
Because I can always add more later, right? I can't take away
yeah,
from it, right? So if it's not quite
yeah,
where I want it, I am going to use Baba hops to kind of give a little bit of a dry hop, try to get a little more like fruity, strawberry kind of notes as well too. I can show you my recipe after this,
sure, yeah,
just to
that
kind of
sounds
get your,
great.
just to see what you think
Yeah.
about it. So from a home brewer's point of view, um, trying to brew better lagers, what fundamentals do you think they need to nail down first?
So I think there's a few things about a good lager is, man, lagers are hard because the variables, you know, usually they're pretty clean. So like I would say on most lagers, the simpler the better for grain bill. Um, a lot of lagers in Germany I know are Pilsner malt, acidulated malt, and maybe a little bit of C10, maybe. You know, depending, and maybe a little bit of brew malts, which in a lot of people know that as honey malts or you know, or melanoid and malt. They're kind of all very similar. I know there's subtle differences between the different suppliers, but brewing lagers is, you know, and that's one that's really about the fermentation, and that's really about making sure you have a healthy yeast pitch. You know, they say basically pitch double the amount of yeast for a lager,
Hmm.
fermented on the colder side. So, you know, you can get away with fermenting most lagers in the 50, if as long as you're in the 50 to 55,
Mm-hmm.
you can go up to 58 on lagers and it's fine. That's important, and then, as the name implies, that lagering phase is
Mm-hmm.
so important, you know, that you really gotta let that beer sit for at least 2 weeks, but I think you're gonna get the best results after 4.
Yeah.
I I just brewed a Helles and I
Oh,
taste
love
it
a
every
Hellas.
day. Yeah, oh, it's so good, and I taste it every day, and I'm just like, and we don't have a filter, you know,
Okay.
we're just
Yeah.
cold crashing and just letting everything settle out, so making sure that you dump the big chunk of that yeast off there once you can,
Mm-hmm.
so you don't get that yeast. Those yeast cells can die if they're cold crashed for too long, and they'll rupture and make off flavors. But you still want some yeast in there because that's going to clean up the acetaldehyde and some of that sulfur and other flavors. So really, just that long lagering phase. And I tasted our Helles and I was like, it took 6 weeks for it to lager to the point where I
Wow.
was like, this tastes good now and smooth. It took 6 weeks. So you got to have patience with lagers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's the key. The key is patience.
100%. Yeah. I just, yeah, I love a Hellas. Like, oh man, there's my son, he goes to UT in Knoxville, and there
Nice.
is the Shoalsbrow Brewery there. I'm not sure if that was there when you lived in Tennessee. Maybe not.
I don't know if I've heard of that one.
So they are a German family, and they buy all their ingredients from Germany, and
Nice.
so everything is like by the German law, blah blah blah, and they make a Helles that is just phenomenal. Their Dunkel is just out of this world. Like it's
Yeah.
just so
Yeah.
good. I hope they don't get bought up, honestly. I've
They
heard
probably
horrors.
won't if they're a German
Yeah.
family like that.
Right.
They're
So, but
probably,
yeah.
yeah,
But they also live in America, so once somebody's throwing it full flash at you, you see some stuff get bought out.
true.
But I mean, the bad thing is, like you said earlier, like some companies pretty much just gut them, right? They just like change everything about
Yeah.
them. The beer never tastes the same. Blah blah blah. So
Mhm.
that's what I'm kind of worried about.
Some
Uh,
companies, when they get bought, it's all fine.
yeah,
You wouldn't even have known that they were bought, and that's great whenever it can be like that. And as
exactly.
long
Yeah.
as they're profitable, they're people who bought them aren't gonna change it. But once the it starts going in the red, then they're like, "Ah!" You
What's
know,
going on
"What's
here?
going on?"
Just
Yeah.
fire people.
So,
Fire middle management. They're useless anyways.
yep, that's usually what happens.
uh,
But, hey, there's some great loggers. I was in Denver for the GABF, went to
okay,
Bierstadt Lager House.
nice.
Oh my gosh, their slow pour pills is
Hmm.
so great. I mean, you know, actually, Ashley Carter has a whole PowerPoint presentation on how to brew better lagers.
Okay.
And her and her husband, they actually went to Germany, studied with German lager brewers and everything. She's got a really good PowerPoint on that, and it's kind of like brewing lagers, it's like, do you know your brewing fundamentals? Do you pitch the right amount of yeast? Do you use the, high quality ingredients? Do you know how to, control your fermentation? Do you know how to not get oxygen in your beer? That's why so many brewers, it's like the secret handshake between them is, well, let me taste your Pilsner or your Helles or your Dunkel, because it's like, this is how I'm going to know that you know your fundamentals.
So yeah, so speaking of, so that's how I treat every craft brewery I go to. I always get one lager somewhere, and
Hmm.
then I'll try your other stuff as well too, because like you can't hide stuff in a lager or pilsner or Hollis or anything like that. Like I know exactly. Well, I don't know exactly, but I know there's some things that may be off a little bit. So I've told that to my friends who never thought about that. So now that's what they do as well too. So they go to these different breweries and make sure they always get a lager just to see, because if you get a pastry stout or a New England IPA or whatever, you can add a bunch of different adjuncts to make it palatable and taste good. Because things happen. I'm sure it's happened to you as well too. Like you brew a batch of beers, like okay, it didn't quite turn out the way I wanted to, but I still have to sell this. So what can I add to this so I can sell this, right? So, and because you said
Or
it is a
blending.
bit a blending. Yes, that's another one. Yeah,
Blending,
like
at
Bud
Terrapin,
Light, right? They do a crap ton of blending. To me, Budweiser rather.
yeah, and when you get that big too,
Yeah,
you have to blend,
right.
to
Because the
keep it
consistency.
consistent.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, um, I mean, because 'cause we're dealing with agricultural products that change every year. So, we kinda every batch we made at Terrapin was a blend of 2 different wort batches. So we brewed 2 100-barrel batches into 200-barrel tanks every time.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
if we didn't hit our gravity on the first beer, we would adjust our if our
Ah,
gravity is
yeah,
too high
yeah.
on the first beer, we would brew one a little bit lower on the
So I
next
got to
one.
balance out. You should get that 5% or whatever you're shooting for. Yeah.
Yep.
That's really
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, I
So
didn't think about the alcohol level. I was thinking about like flavor profile, but yeah.
and with flavor too. Definitely people do stuff. Dude, things happen. That one time, the brewer was too hungover that day and he forgot to throw the Whirlpool hops into the hazy, and that, may or may not have been me. I don't know, but but sometimes that happens. So then then it's like now the brewmaster has to think, okay, now for the next 3 or 4 batches of hazy, we're gonna put 50% more hops in each one of those, and then we're gonna blend that in
Wow.
that
Yeah.
one batch, blend that into the one that didn't get it right. So,
That's so
but
yeah.
it's
So basically, what you're saying is like that's where like science and art kind of like meet each other, right?
yeah, and I know some people might think, "Oh, well, blending is, like, not good," or anything like that. Some people might think that, "Oh, you're just trying to get away with selling bad beer." We never sold bad beer, and we
Hmm.
never blended bad beer into another beer. It was a good beer, but we have this kind of this outline or this, sketch of this beer that we have to live within. And if that batch of, you know, Galaxy hops was like harvested at the wrong time and is giving us peach flavor instead of passion fruit, then we need to correct for that because people are expecting passion fruit from our
Yeah, then I think that's the argument I was just going to help you with. Like, yeah, your customer expects this terrapin beer X to taste like X every time I buy it. It should never taste any deviation from it. Now, some companies can get away with that. Like I think of like Sierra Nevada Pale Ale or Sierra Nevada's Celebration or
Hmm.
Bell's Two
Sure.
Hearted or Bell's Oberon. Like those change. Actually, the Oberon I feel like changes throughout the whole season they sell it. Because you can
Yeah.
buy it when it first
Yeah.
release, and you can buy like springtime. Then you can buy like late summer, and it's not the exact same beer. Like something has changed. Something I don't know if it's because it aged or they made a different batch, but it's never and every year is so totally different. So which is fine.
Could be
Never all that.
different crop years for the barley or wheat. Could be
Mm-hmm.
different because
Mm-hmm.
they go through, that crop year change happens in like the middle of the year
Okay,
because we still have reserves of all that barley and
that
wheat
makes
from the
sense.
last harvest. So yeah, that kind of it doesn't happen, right at, end of Q4 or
Whatever.
beginning of
Yeah, yeah, right.
Q1, Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah,
so yeah,
that's
that
cool.
that figuring out that how that some of that, and honestly, dude, could be, you know, whoever's working that shift that made that batch, we try so hard to make everything as consistent as possible. But
I'll
there's
bet you
some
do. Yeah.
things that you're like, okay, add the Whirlpool hops, and it's like, well, this brewer adds them before the Whirlpool starts, and then it comes in on top of the hops. And this brewer goes, oh, add the Whirlpool hops when Whirlpool starts. Whirlpool starts after the Whirlpool vessel is full, and then I add it. So,
Yep.
and that never happened at Terrapin because we figured out something we were doing that, and then we made a corrected that. But those things are happening all the time. So if you
Yeah.
don't have it exactly explicitly laid out what to do, then there's going to be some variation.
Yep. No, that's true. Yeah, just like you were saying earlier, all these different variables can change all sorts of little things, and yeah, that's crazy. Yep, that's so exciting. Yeah, I'm so glad you're on here talking about this kind of stuff. Like, I think the professional world is leaps and bounds different than what homebrewing can be. I'm sure, like, our variables are could be about the same, but I don't think the magnitude is so detrimental
The stakes
overall.
are higher.
Yeah. So, yeah, from a cost standpoint,
If
for
I'm
sure.
not a good if I don't make good beer, then my family, you know, you know, they're going hungry.
They go hungry.
So
Well, you're
yeah,
not wrong. I mean, yes.
yeah, yeah. I got to be good at my job, so I have to be a lot more precise, I think. At my job now, I'm way more relaxed than, because it's a smaller craft brewer,
Yeah,
more small craft focused thing. My boss lets me make my own recipes and everything like that, so I get to way more express the homebrew spirit at the place I'm at now. At Terrapin, it was just
just buy the
try to
book
make the same beer, high quality, but the same beer every
every
time.
time.
And
Yeah,
we made a lot of beer. We made a lot. Yeah, 100,000 barrels a year. That's a
that's
lot of
insane. I couldn't even
beer.
imagine. Which is crazy.
Yeah,
Like, guys, I think my buddy, crap, I forgot now how many barrels he does a year. The one I was talking about earlier, the one up in Kingsport. I want to
yeah.
say 30. I feel like it's 30, but I could be wrong. It may be more
It's
than that.
probably higher than that.
Yeah, it might be.
How
I
big is
can't.
his brewery?
I'm drawing a complete blank right now. I feel so bad.
That's
Sorry,
fine.
Elijah.
It's
So
probably a
sorry.
little bit
Trying to
more than
remember.
that, but
Yeah.
because we do about 500 a year at St.
Okay.
Benedict's. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah. I can't. I feel so
and
bad. I can't remember.
we're a 3 barrel system. So
Okay.
yeah,
So you enough the form that you fill out, you check mark beer styles and history. I think you're the first one who's ever really done that. So I'm going to tell you this kind of questions into like the recipe side of like questions that I have. So obviously you seem to be like a history. I'm gonna call you a nerd on the topic
yeah.
of beer and where it comes from and stuff like that, which is totally fine. I mean, I love history as well too. So when you're thinking back on a let's call it like historic beer. So let's say you found a beer from like the 1870s, some English style beer that you thought was great, some type of porter. Um, so do your research on that. Let's say you get like a Ron Pattinson book, you're going through like he found all this kind of crazy
I love
stuff.
Ron Pattinson.
Yeah,
He's awesome.
I actually met him a couple years ago. He is a really cool
Oh,
guy.
nice.
Yeah, he gave
Yeah,
like a private talk here in Johnson City, which is really
That's
cool.
awesome. His
Yeah.
books are great.
Yeah, they are. So yeah, so you found that 1970 porter, blah blah blah, but you want to make a modern day version of that. So like,
Mm.
what's your thought process going from again what Ron Patterson dug up to the American side, porter basically at your brewery now?
Oh man, that's really interesting. I think I think it was an article that he wrote about how oh no, it was the guy who tried to remake Liberty Ale. Have you seen that?
I've seen that one. No.
Um it's this guy who was the brewmaster at Pabst, I think, and he tried to remake I think it was the Liberty Ale. And
Hmm.
that beer was made with Sterling hops. It was like, some people rumored it's the first real IPA ever made. And uh but what they did with the Sterling hops was they steam distilled the hop oils out of it and then
Okay.
put that hop oil back into the beer.
Okay.
Um so he went on this journey trying to recreate this beer, and he tried to do it exactly how they said it, follow
Hmm.
the recipe. And um I think everyone's just it's just kind of I think if you go like super follow the recipe so hard like that, I think it kind of gets lost on a lot of people.
Hmm.
Because that recipe was made with those hops, maybe Sterling hops at that time. It was a good climate for them. They were grown in a good place, and they had this certain flavor characteristic that, they don't really have now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, maybe don't follow the exact, you know, brand
Hmm.
of ingredients when you're making a historic beer, but um definitely follow the processes involved with it.
Hmm.
So, if you're making like a Belgian lambic beer, you gotta do a spontaneous fermentation with that. You gotta use a cool ship and let it just, get wild yeast get in there
Hmm.
and all that stuff. If you're making a Kentucky Common, do you need to use 6 row versus 2 row? Because of apparently that's what it was typically
Hmm.
made with 6 row barley. I don't know how much of a difference it's going to be with 6 row versus 2 row. There is a difference. I'm not going to deny the fact that there is a difference, but I think you could probably make a pretty dang good Kentucky Common with 2 row barley. I don't think you
Yeah.
need the 6 row, but you do need to have corn and everything in there,
Hmm.
and some
Hmm.
caramel malts. But yeah, it's just so hard though to, I thought about, just thinking about like, hops that you're getting.
Hmm.
Okay, brewers are saying, the old historical beer recipes are put a pound of hops per, per 50 gallons or whatever. And you're like,
Hmm.
okay, just a pound of hops. And they're like, hops from the North region are the best. And you're like,
Hmm.
okay, you know. So then you try to go look up what hops were grown in the northern region of Germany in that time, and
Yeah.
you're like, okay, I think it was those hops, and you try to recreate it, but it's like, okay, you kind of have to try to find an equivalent of what that ingredient would be today,
Hmm.
and use that in your beer style because the beer still has to taste good. So
True.
I don't want I mean, I'm sure the beer would still taste fine, but I don't really want to put like East Kent Goldings in a historical Kolsch recipe. I don't think that would work. I did read something on Ron Patterson's website. I think it was his website. I'm not 100% sure, but about a historical Kolsch recipe where they actually um like dry hopped it.
Hmm.
There's a German text was saying that they dry hopped the Kolsch. What they did was they steeped the hops in like 170-degree water, and then they strained that water off and put that into the Kolsch after it was done fermenting.
It's like hop tea, basically, I guess, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
kind of. And
Interesting.
I'm like, oh, I want to try that,
Hmm.
because that's a historical way of doing. making a Kolsch that is kind of, buried in the ether, but I'm like, I wonder if there's something behind that that was, they knew something that we didn't know.
Right. Yeah. It's pretty interesting. There's another YouTube channel that I find enjoyable. I think it's like James Townsend or something like that, or Townsend and something. So he does a lot of
Oh, I
like
love him.
historical,
Yeah.
like 1700, 1800s. So he redid,
Spruce beer.
yeah,
That's
he
my
did that one.
yeah.
He also did the George Washington beer. Which like the
Yep.
ingredients were so vague. Like I think
Yeah.
it's like kind of like you said, like if you read some of this stuff, like what is a nub of ginger? Like, okay, how big is that? Like I have
Yeah.
no idea,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And what is baker's yeast per
One
se?
tankard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. So like I
Yeah.
don't know what this means. So like so you
Yeah.
just kind of
Yeah.
figure it out. But I mean, I definitely that's always been a goal of mine. I do have like a few table beers for historical table beers, like small beers or whatever. I definitely want to try to make George Washington being one of them. I thought it'd be kind of interesting to make because I know it is made with ginger, and molasses and something else. It just
Yeah.
sounds interesting, right? I don't think I've ever
I
had
think
anything commercial like that, so I just make it, try
as
it
long
out.
as you have the main ingredients and processes there that they're doing, I think you have a pretty wide range of creative liberty
Yeah,
on those beers, and as long as, just think about, when you're making a beer recipe, just think about the balance of everything too,
yeah, that's
and to
true.
think about how everything's going to work together. Like the George Washington beer, the spruce beer, it's like, yeah, don't like overload it with spruce, but like put a reasonable amount in there that it's not gonna, overpower. And a good way to do that is do tests, like get some of your spruce tips and put them in, 1,000 milliliters of just hot water and
Hmm.
see how many spruce tips you have to put in there before you get overpowered by the flavor.
Well, fair enough. Yeah, that's a good way to think about it. Yeah, yeah, I like that idea.
Just kind of doing like a little mini experiment.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I think I've done something similar to that with when I make hard ciders, trying to figure out that I like my ciders to be a little more on the medium sweetness level. I call it.
Me
I don't
too.
want it super sweet, but I like it a little sweeter. I don't like dry so much. Um, but I've made enough ciders now that I know just one can of apple concentrate is exactly where I want it at. But before I was trying to figure it out, I would take out like a quarter of a cup, and then I would douse it a little bit here and there. I'm like, oh, that's not quite right. But like I said, I figured just a can of it, just dump it in there, boom, perfect. I love it. That's
Yeah.
an easy brew
And
to
so,
make
I
too
mean,
if somebody wants to try to make something
yeah.
simple.
Yeah, I would recommend that to, a new homebrewer who doesn't wanna, maybe doesn't wanna mess with extracting grain and hops and all those
Yeah.
variables. Just be like, "Just grab some apple juice and some yeast, man. Just
Yep. Pretty much.
mix it together and yeah, that's a easy easy first one to do."
Yep. 100%. I've also learned, and I kind of like talking about it. Kvike yeast, or Kvike, however you want to say it, is definitely expensive. It's not cheap, but I think it makes the best hard cider for one simple fact: it doesn't
Oh,
impart any unique flavors because it's bland. Kvike yeast is just a bland flavor, right? So if you want a good
it's pretty
strawberry lemon,
dry.
yeah, it's I think it's really good
I
one
think it
to try.
attenuates pretty well.
It does. It's fast.
Yeah.
Like if you want a sour
Mhm.
cider in 3 or 4 days, bam, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah. I think yeah, I think that yeast has its uses. I think it has
Hmm.
really good place, and I think stuff like hard cider is perfect for it. Because I think those, the fruity flavors of the hard cider with the neutral flavor of the Kvike and how fast it is and everything. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's brilliant.
that's really good.
That's like it's my cheat way if there's a competition coming up and I have to like do a cider, like, oh yeah, I'm doing this one. It's like if I forget about it, like I make this in a week. Except for sometimes you do get the weird, I call them rhino farts. I don't know how to explain it.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you get that
Yeah.
really funky smell.
With the ciders, it's easy to do that with the ciders because the
Yeah.
yeast doesn't have enough nutrients.
Yes.
So that yeah, so when we made a cider at St. Benedict's once, and the first one I made, yeah, I did some trials in in growlers basically, just put different kinds of yeast in it, and man, yeah, we got the rhino farts bad. It
Yeah.
needed way more nitrogen in it.
Yep. So there's a
Yeah.
few ways you can do it. At your level, you can use copper something or whatever. It's like a liquid thing,
Yeah.
but too much you can
Yeah.
kill somebody. So maybe you not want to do that.
Yeah.
You can use a copper
I've heard of
rod.
people just getting a copper pipe and just sticking
Exactly,
it in
100%.
there.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
But you still have to put like a finding agent. You still need to drop all that stuff out.
Yeah.
So like the first thing I would try to do, again for anybody who's listening, I would just do like the splash method. So basically, you just take your bucket and you pour it into like another vessel, be like a couple of feet above it. So that way you're getting oxygen. It's getting oxygenated, helps push a lot of those little horrible smelling molecules out of suspension. You may
Yeah,
have to do
those
it a couple
sulfur mono
times, but
those yeah. Yeah, those sulfur molecules are super volatile. I think they evaporate at like 20 degrees Celsius. So just move it, agitating it, yeah, splashing it, they'll go.
yeah.
Yeah.
To do. It's a fun one to do. So we've covered a lot about like hops, malts, yeast just throughout our general conversation. So I'm kind of going to skip that a little bit. But you did mention that you use a where's it at? A copper wort chiller that you mentioned that brings up interesting discussions about sulfur.
Yeah.
Okay, so kind of break that
So that's
down
what
for
we
us
were
just a
just
little bit. Yeah, yeah. I guess we were just talking about that,
yeah,
weren't we?
yeah, kind of.
Yeah,
So,
in a roundabout way.
yeah, it's kind of funny. So, whenever I got to St. Benedict's, this is you know, I'm being a professional brewer and then, coming in there and they made good beer and there was a lot of stuff that was just you could tell was just made for that occasion and then it's just kind of been there the entire time. So we had a copper, yeah, it's like great. It's like this copper tube inside of a tube, and it's coiled around and water goes on the outside and then beer goes on the inside. Um so, I'm working there, using it, and it's working fine. The beer's tasting great. Everything is going good. And then it gets a pinhole leak in it. And then the pinhole, I try to fix it, and the leak gets bigger. And I go, I don't think it's worth it for me to try to fix this thing. I'm just going to, get a plate and frame chiller from, this company, and we're just going to do it how I've always, I've
Mm-hmm.
always used,
That makes
heat
sense. Yeah.
exchangers,
Yep.
So I was like, "Oh, we'll just do it that way, it'll be fine." Sized it right, chill the wort, and we'll all be good.
Mm-hmm.
So that one, the plate and frame one though is stainless steel.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I didn't realize how much that copper was saving me from the rhino farts
Mm-hmm.
at the brewery.
Yeah.
So yeah, we switched the heat exchanger out, and all of a sudden, all the beers that I'm brewing are like I'm like, getting this big sulfur gas. I'm like, what is going on here? And I do some digging and they're like, oh yeah, to get rid of it, use a copper heat exchanger, they're like a lot of brewers will just, have a copper, suspend a piece of copper in their,
Mm-hmm.
uh, kettle while they're
Mm-hmm.
boiling. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize that, I had a yeast health issue
Yeah.
but it was being masked by the fact that I had all this copper that, it was that something about the chemicals in the copper
Mm-hmm.
bind with the sulfur and neutralize them.
Yep.
So so I
That is
thought I
pretty
was
cool.
fixing something and making it better and I made it worse.
Oh, that's
So then that
crazy.
took me down this yeah, yeah. So then a whole rabbit hole of yeast health and everything. We ended up buying a mic, got
You know,
everything
oh yeah,
figured
but
out.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
really cool. Yeah, there's just so many things I can maybe we can talk about that can just make a great beer go bad really, really fast. Like infection to like you
Yeah.
said, just switching equipment, just one small variable, right? You just change something up that was you didn't think it was well, it was no biggie. Then all of a sudden, oh man, like why is everything so funky all of a sudden? Like this doesn't seem
Yep.
right. I definitely want to go back to your study in just a little bit. There was like another question that I forgot to ask. So you said that you're working on also getting your BJCP and your Cicerone. How was that
Mhm.
going for you?
So I got my BJCP. I'm a
Congrats.
certified BJCP judge. Thank
Awesome.
you. That was I had to go to St. Louis to get it within a timely manner. There's not a lot of homebrewers, unfortunately, where I am. So I had to go to St. Louis. That was a blast, though. I loved it. It was so much fun. All the people there who just love
Hmm.
brewing and they're sharing all their recipes. I met a guy who has a craft brewery in Mexico,
There you go.
and
Yeah.
he was, yeah, he's in Mexico City. He's got a big craft brewery. They make a bunch of hazy IPAs, and he was studying food science actually, and here in America. And I was like, wow, dude, this is cool. I got to meet this guy, and so many cool guys, getting to taste all their beers. It's really good beers, really funny. Um, they had a Polliner's Hefeweizen was one of the
Okay.
beers to be
Hmm.
judged, and yeah, it was really funny. One of the BJCP, guys administering the
Hmm.
test, what he gave it like a 38 out of a 50. and and it was kind of funny. The other guys were like, "Oh man, I think this is world class." And that's kind of that beer is like kind of defines the
Oh
Hefeweizen
yeah.
style,
100%. Yeah.
So it was kind of funny. They kind of made fun of him for that, but it just goes to show though, like the judging is so hard to be really good at it.
But yeah.
It's hard.
It's
It's
subjective on
it's
top of
really
it too.
hard, so subjective, and it's like, and if you had a cold that day, or if you know anything, it's what did you eat for breakfast? If you had something too spicy, it can wreck you. Your palate is so
Oh
sensitive.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I even heard like even former smokers don't make really good
yeah,
judges, right? Because even if they quit 20 years ago, it's really hard for them to get their taste buds are still could be out of whack or whatever. Yeah, so I
yeah.
thought
My
that was kind of
my
interesting.
boss at Terrapin, he was a smoker. He was a current smoker. He was like the production manager, and he just was like, I don't even do sensory. There's no point.
Is
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm a former smoker, so like I do have a hard time. I think with certain flavors, like I definitely want. Hopefully, I get my homebrew club this year. I've asked, and we say yes, but I don't think I ever make it. I want to do an off flavor tasting, so I want to get better at
Yes.
that. I really,
Do it.
and I
Do
don't want to
it.
buy the kit myself because they're awfully expensive for myself.
Yeah.
So as a
There's
club,
cheaper
so go ahead.
there's cheap ones you can get.
Is there? Okay.
Yeah, there's some that are, I mean, it depends on what you think is cheap. I mean, I think I've seen a couple that are just like the five main off flavors that are, I
Okay.
think they're like $80.
Oh, that's not too bad. I think the one I looked at was a couple hundred.
Yeah, I think there's one floating around that they're like, "Oh, this is the only off flavor kit you should ever buy," and it's like,
Yeah,
yeah, it's like $219, and
something
I'm
like that.
like,
Yeah,
"That's yeah, yeah."
yeah.
But if you can, I think it might be on. Is it the American Society of Brewing Chemists or the Master Brewers Association of America? One of those sites, I think they have an off flavor kit that's like just a five. It's like diacetyl, um, acetaldehyde, um, maybe mercaptan, and maybe a
Okay.
metallic off flavor. But
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
I think there's one that's pretty minimal that you can get
Okay.
for I think it's like $80. I'll try to find it for you and send it to
Oh,
you.
okay, cool. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So how's the Cicerone stuff going?
I actually haven't gotten to that yet.
Okay. Oh, you're
Yeah.
busy. I mean, working, studying all these
Yeah.
certificates. The reason why I asked is I went to a brewery. My oldest son lives in South Carolina, over by Greer, and then there's a brewery there. Totally forget the name of it right now. It's great, but all their all other brewers have at least a level 2 Cicerone.
Nice.
And I was like, wow, that's impressive. And then, of course, I had explained to my oldest son, like, what does that mean? I was like, well, the first test, I guess, is not super hard. It's still tough, but it's not really that hard. Once you get to the second, or even like in the last levels, like, well, but impossible. I think there's only like 20 of them or something, like maybe 30 of them
Yeah.
around the world. There's not many. I was like,
Yeah.
it's excruciating test you have to go through. So I sent him a video on it
Even
because
the BJCP test is hard.
is it okay? I'm not. I guess like I said,
Yeah.
I don't know all flavors very well. I know like I can tell you that something doesn't taste right to me, but I can't say like what I may be tasting. Like there's some like I made one beer that had a Band-Aid flavor to it. Right. So like, oh, okay, this is bad. Then of course then you have to ask yourself the question like, why do I know what a Band-Aid tastes like? So
Yeah, yeah. But maybe you know what it smells like more than you know what it tastes
right.
like.
So yeah. So I've had that before. So yeah. So I'll be yeah. So just give me an update when you start that. I'd be kind of curious how that class is going for you. So I know it's not tough. I mean, not tough. I know it is tough.
Yeah. Yeah, the BJCP test is hard too because in the written portion you have to be like,
mm,
they testing you on every beer style
that's
and they're
true.
asking you specific questions about that beer style. That's like, oh, what a Flanders Red, is this an off flavor in a Flanders Red? And it lists like lactic, acetic, and you're like, oh my gosh,
Wow,
which one was it? Like was it lactic or acetic? I don't know. And
that's
and
insane.
about specific ingredients, ABV,
Hmm.
color, all, everything, all these things about it. So, oh, and process things. It's like, is it dry hopped or is it decoction mash? So luckily for the written part, I had just been so obsessed with beer for so long. I just knew a bunch of this stuff. I knew like 80% of the questions because I was
Nice.
curious and I just looked it up and I wanted to know. But I still had to study for that test to make sure I got a
Mm,
passing grade. And then the sensory test is I thought the sensory was going to be actually a lot harder than it was. It was still hard, but I thought that they were gonna, because it was just the entry level test to be
mm,
a beer judge. So I thought that they were gonna put like some obscure beer style in front of me, or like four of them, and be like, "So what beer style is that?" You know?
oh my gosh.
And I was like, "Oh no!" But they actually tell you this is supposed to be Hefeweizen, this is supposed to be a pale ale, this is supposed to be this,
Yeah.
this is supposed to be that. So that makes it a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
But I bet
That's
at the
very
high
cool.
level of a Cicerone, they're just like, okay, what beer flavor? What beer is this? What's the IBUs?
Basically,
What's the
yeah, it's insane.
ABV? Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the SRM? Just from looking, like,
Yeah, right.
yeah,
I think
yeah,
Amazon has is either Amazon or Hulu. One of them had like a Cicerone. They followed these two guys around. One was like a former Navy SEAL, maybe want to become a Cicerone, the expert level, and one was like another guy. The other guy passed, but that's what his wife would do. His wife would go to some random beer store, grab random beers, and just put them like in front of him. Just
yeah.
give them a small little cups. What beer is this?
Man,
And
that's
just sit there
hard. That's so
sipping and blah blah
hard.
blah. And basically, that's kind of what you said. It's kind of what the test was for the most part. They would give you X amount of beers, and you basically had to answer all these questions and then say, "What beer is this?" I'm like, that's crazy because like just go
That's
back
so
to
difficult.
like the barrel aged
Even
beers,
the
like another
style,
one.
even getting the
Yeah.
style
Oh my
right
gosh.
is hard.
Have you
Yeah.
ever had a Combs Polish Porter?
No, I have not.
So Combs is Komes, um,
No.
and they change throughout the season. So what I mean is
Okay.
when they make it in January, if you buy it in January, it even gives you on a guide on the back, like you should pick this stuff up. If you wait till
Really?
October, you should get this stuff instead. So like I couldn't imagine like here, this is the beer. Tell me what this is.
Yeah.
What the crap? Like this
But
thing just
so hard.
changes.
That's
The moving target, right? So
Oh
crazy
my
stuff, man.
gosh, yeah, that's so hard, and that's one of the things I really struggled at when I was at Terrapin, because that's when
Mm, mm.
they had a real sensory they had a sensory panel on every batch of beer that we brewed.
That's
They
so
would
cool though, really.
sensory, yeah. So I got to that's where I got to do the off flavor test.
Oh, okay,
So
yeah, yeah. That's really
yeah,
cool.
so that was really neat. It's so much fun. We used what I wish that we had done before, though, basically what they did was they dosed, a bunch of different beers with the flavors,
Okay.
and then they had us drink it, and they were like, "What off flavor is that?" I wish at first they had just given us water with a drop of the off flavor in it and
Okay.
said, "Okay, this is what acetaldehyde tastes like." And then they gave me another drop of, watch my mouth out. They gave me another drop in another different cup and was like, "Okay, this is mercaptan or whatever." And
Mm.
I wish I was able to establish a baseline of what all those off flavors were
Mhm, mhm.
before I had to go looking for it in the beer.
Oh,
It would have
that's
made
a
it a lot
brilliant
easier.
idea too, yeah. 'Cause I know some people, like, buy just cheap beer like Pabst or something like that, very
Yeah, we use Miller High Life.
okay, fair enough.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, oh gosh, I haven't had Miller High Life in forever. Oh, man,
Yeah,
yeah, it's been a
yeah, it's
while.
been a while for me, but I think the last time I had it actually was at CBC in Indianapolis.
Okay.
Yeah,
My
that
I don't cut my grass as much as I once did, but my go-to lawnmower beer before I started making beer was the, Coors, Stubbies.
those are good, man.
Yeah.
I'm reading the book about him right now, the
Okay,
guy who
yeah.
started
Was it Adolf
it's
Coors or
called
something like that?
yeah, it's
Yeah.
called Citizen Coors.
Okay.
It's a crazy book. Dude,
I'll have to check that
that guy
out.
was wild. He was an interesting guy. Yeah.
I'll have to check that one out, yeah. Like I said, I mean, I just don't retain as much as I read a lot. I've read a lot more as I get older. I just don't retain what I read, which really sucks because like I've been going through this book a few different times now, right? So like I'm trying to get my way through it.
Oh, that's a good
Such a
book.
good book. It really is. But then
Yeah,
I'm trying to adopt what he's saying to what I'm doing. Because he
yeah,
uses like a mass ton or 3-tier vessels as well. What I do,
yeah,
brew in a bag. So I gotta like, yeah, how can I tweak it? So if I can't figure it out in my head, I usually just jump on Google. Like, hey, how do I do this for brew in a bag?
yeah.
Help me out here.
Which there's some good knowledge on, Google and everything in some of the forums. You just have to be careful because sometimes you can get a bunch of conflicting opinions on everything.
Yeah. So it's just, yeah. So I'm glad you brought this up. I try to tell this to people who want to get into like computer science. Find one individual that you trust and stick with them. Don't don't jump around all over the place because you're just gonna get more lost and confused and don't know where to start. If you find someone you
Sure.
like, to stick with them and just go with it, which write it out until you can't write no more, and then figure out other stuff. And I feel like that's with brewing as well too, because like I said, I've watched so many different YouTubers, and they're all great. But after a while, I started to see that they all were kind of saying the same things, just slightly different ways, because again, they're trying to appeal to their audience. But once you peel back that layer, they're going, okay, now I can go do what I need to do, or now I know what this process actually means. Um, so since I brought up like other hobbies, let's kind of get into some of yours a little bit. So you like golf, cooking. Obviously, you're a proud daddy, which is awesome, and like I said earlier, a man of faith. So let's start with golf. I've played
Yeah,
golf since I was a wee lad. My grandfather taught me. He never taught me how to drive. He taught me the short game because she said short game was where I
nice.
was. So I can't drive to save my life. But
Same.
if I get close to the green, maybe it's on. Um,
Yeah, me too. I'm exactly the same as you on that. I cannot drive to save my life.
nope. Hook, slice, all sorts of
Terrible at
stuff.
it. Yeah. Oh, I'm lucky if oh man, when I first started golfing, I'm lucky if I hit the ball. You know?
Yeah. It's a
When I
weird
first
feeling, right?
started.
Because you want to swing like a
Yeah.
baseball, right? You got to keep the
Yeah.
one arm kind of straight and the hand configuration. You're just like, why am I
Yeah.
doing all this crazy stuff for?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Me and my buddies have had I started golfing when I was working for Terrapin actually.
Okay, yeah. Some nice
Yeah,
courses down there.
what
Yeah.
yeah, and one of the I think we were like 2 hours away from Augusta.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, my buddy, he just loved golfing. He loved it so much, and we'd find the cheapest course,
Oh yeah.
that we could go out to,
Go
and
tear it
we
up.
just go and curse and yeah, tear everything up. And then I got more into it after, after a while. I haven't been in a while. I've been so busy, but
Yeah,
I
I
do
hear
love
you.
it. It's a lot of fun.
I don't go like I want to, and my one buddy actually moved down from Michigan probably about 4 or 5 years after I moved down here, but now he lives like an hour or something away, and he works third shift, so like we hardly ever get together to go golf. I don't fish like
It's
I
tough.
once did either.
Oh, yeah.
I just
I love fishing too.
yeah, just again, like I said, it was out down to time, but like I said, I am super blessed. I have a stellar granddaughter, So every other weekend we get her. So that's kind of so
Nice.
that's my new hobby,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So I get to spend
Yeah.
multiple hours with my granddaughter. I get to play with her, teach her all sorts of fun stuff. We get to cook together. She's discovered her imagination, which is
Oh,
so much
yay.
fun, so much fun. Like she'll take a cup and a wooden spoon and she'll stir stuff up. She'll hand it to me and I'll drink it. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, you made me chicken noodle soup or whatever. She gets a kick out of it.
Yeah.
So
Oh, that's funny. My toddler loves doing that
oh
too.
yeah, it's
He
so much fun
loves
to
he
watch.
loves cooking. Cooking. He
Cooking, heck
loves
yeah.
it. Yeah.
So speaking of cooking, do you host any beer food pairing?
Oh, that so yes, I have done some stuff like that
Okay,
before. Not I've more done beer tastings, and then sometimes it has been like, okay, this beer goes well with this. I am the go-to guy whenever we're out to eat with any of my friends or family. They're like, what should I get? Tell me what
right.
to order. You know, what beer is going to be good. And so, because I was a bartender before I was
True.
a brewer, so
Hmm.
I kind of have that. You know, that was kind of naturally part of what I like to do. I really fell in love with bartending,
Yeah,
and brewing to me was just the natural extension and day job way of being a bartender. You know, you can be a brewer and you can have a family if you're just working Monday through Friday, 9 to
true.
5.
Yeah, the 9 to 5. Yeah,
So, it's you can do it as a bartender too, but it's a lot harder. But yeah, I mean, I have it. Oh, my friends came over the other day, and I've got a kegerator, and I've got all my beers on tap, and I
awesome.
usually have some sort of like a light beer, some
Hmm.
sort of hoppy beer, and some sort of dark beer. I only have 3 taps right now, so that's
Yeah, oh, that's
that's
still
kind of all I
perfect.
can get.
Hmm.
Yeah, but yeah, whenever they come in, it's always light beer first, get a couple in ya, and then it's okay. Now let's drink some IPAs, get some more flavor going after you've loosened up, and then then we'll eat, and then after that, if you're drinking dessert, now it's time to bring out the dark beer, because I just love like a brownie or chocolate chip cookie and like a Schwartz beer or a stout
Oh
or a
yeah.
Dunkel, like just
Yep.
that combination there.
Hmm.
I just love it. So I'm always pairing my food with some sort of.
Yeah, that's awesome. Oh, for sure. Yeah, I find myself more often than not if I'm going to like an Americana restaurant, it's going to be some type of lager for like the most part. I'm usually getting a burger, so I always like the clean, crispy boys, right? So I get one of those. If I go to a pizzeria, this is going to sound really weird. If they have Blue Moon on tap, I'm going for that, but no orange. I never get an orange. And they always look at me
Oh,
funny.
that's
They're
not a
like,
blue moon. A blue moon,
so,
not a blue moon.
so again,
Have you seen that commercial?
so yeah, right. So like you being a bartender, right? Like, Um, I don't know how long that orange has been sitting around. I don't know who sliced up
Yeah,
that orange. I don't know what's on that orange. I don't want that orange in my beer. So it's
that's
always had
fair. That
so I
is
have to
that's
tell
totally
waiters that
fair.
all the time. So I ask you, why don't you want the orange? I was like, first of all, I just really don't care if the orange is. It's not adding anything to it. It's like a decoration.
Yeah,
So it's like an umbrella in
yeah,
your little Mai Tai. Who cares?
yeah,
Just throw it out. I don't
yeah.
need it. I'm worried
It's
about all the
supposed
other
to
stuff.
invoke. Yeah, yeah. It's supposed to invoke the feeling of the flavor of orange, but yeah, it doesn't.
Right. Yeah, it
Yeah,
doesn't do anything. Yeah. Because like I'm even weird about I brought this up a bunch of times. Like lime in my Mexican cervezas
yeah.
because I get it for like the most point. Corona does taste better with the lime. I'm not a big Corona guy, anyways. But if I did a Takata or a Victoria or Pacifico, I just want them regular, straight up the way they are, and they always shovel lime in the bottle. I'm like, I just want the beer.
Yeah, I
You
love
know, so
Pacifico. That's and Victoria. Man, those are some really good
those
beers.
are good ones. We have a very large Hispanic community here, and they sell
Mhm.
the cheapest bottled version. Like I can get like $2 sometimes.
Yeah,
I can get them for.
yeah, that's great.
I go to a store. It's like $4, a beer if I want. Like, holy crap, I can get so cheap at the restaurant. And ice cold.
Yeah.
Oh, so ice cold too.
Yep.
And so I think I'm gonna switch gears and we're gonna kind of jump into like some rapid fire questions. I love this section. Basically, it's just whatever first thing that comes to your mind. If you want to elaborate, go ahead. It's totally fine too. So, yeah, first question is hazy or clear?
Oh. Oh man, it depends, but if I had to choose, clear.
Bottle or can? Ales or lagers?
Don't. That's so hard. Am I allowed to say Kolsch?
Right. The hybrid?
Gotta have in between. I guess if I had to pick, I'd probably go with this.
Ales, there you go. Favorite hop variety?
I think I'm gonna have to say Citra. It's so good.
Okay. Right. Yeah. All right. There's going to favorite yeast strand.
Man, I'm playing with this a lot recently. I really felt, man, I love that Augustiner yeast. That one does really versatile yeast. You could make a beer that tastes like an ale with it or a lager with it too. So I'm gonna have to
Okay.
say that one for now. Yeah.
Perfect. Favorite beer glass.
Oh, it's gotta be I don't know what I should know what it's called. Oh my gosh, what's it called? It's kind of like it's the glass that has a stem on the bottom and it goes up, but it's longer than a tulip glass. It's not
Okay.
like fat and round like a tulip glass. It has a stem on the bottom and then just goes up and up and up. Kind of like a champagne glass,
Oh, I have one of
but
those.
with a lot of the stem removed. And it's kind of just like a foot ends building.
Oh,
I don't know
yeah.
what it's called.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I have one upstairs. Oh
Yeah.
gosh, yep. Don't blank on it too. Yeah, I'm really bad with the names. Like I like a good old pub pint glass. I like the
Those are
tulips.
good, the Nonic glasses.
Yeah,
Those are
I like
good.
the tulip styles. The old goblets are nice depending on what you're drinking. Like
Yeah.
Orville's are nice and those kind of like a goblet style glass.
Yeah.
I think. Um. Uh. I don't have any pretty glassware. I have a friend of mine who likes like the pretty style. So like they may not look exactly like a pint, like a pub pint glass, but they may have, it may be like kind of twisted. So I have like this little curve to it, and the
Oh,
more expensive,
yeah,
fancy
yeah,
stuff, right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, so
Those are neat.
really good
Oh, I will
for
say
good presentation.
yeah, I will say, maybe I should change my answer.
Sure.
I like glasses that are nucleated. The
Okay.
nucleated glasses. Yeah,
Yeah, they're
so
always
you when you're
yeah,
looking at the beer, you can see the bubbles continually
yeah,
coming up,
constantly,
and it
yeah.
keeps that head on there, it keeps that aroma coming out. So that's my modified answer. Any
There you go.
nucleated glass. Yeah.
So I got the pinter for free. A little off topic again. Pinter is like a 1.5 gallon vessel for the most part. The beer is basically all one extract kit. You put it in there with a little bit of water, whatever yeast they give to you. Let's say for a couple weeks, but bada bing, you get beer. They give you a free glass with it, and it has that in there. So it's
Nice.
yeah, so it's
Yes.
actually pretty cool. Yeah, so it's a
I
neat
think
little
it just
system.
adds so much.
Oh, it does.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's
think it
all
just adds
presentation,
so much
right?
to
So,
your beer.
yeah,
Especially for like an IPA, I think it's good
yeah.
because it just is pushing those aromas out.
Pilsner or Doppelbock?
Oh man. If it's Lent, I want Doppelbock. Any other time of the year, I want Pilsner.
Cool, Pilsner. There you go. Let's see. Most underrated beer style.
Ooh. Schwarzbier.
Yes, that's a crazy style for sure. I've made one of those once, and my friends argued with me forever. Like, this is not a lager. I'm like, yes, it is. It's just black as night. That's the big difference.
I love them. If they're made right, I mean, it could be so good. It's basically like a stout that you can drink every day, drink a lot of them, and they have
Yeah.
such a good flavor, and but not the super roasty flavor, it's, like, the more palatable version, crispy.
If you could only brew one beer style forever, what would that be?
Gotta be IPA. There's so much you
Yeah.
can do. There's
Okay.
so many flavors, there's so many
Ah, true.
options, it's
Yeah.
just yeah. You can put fruit in them. You can put, all
Mm-hmm.
the different hop
Mm-hmm.
varieties. You can make them dark, you can make them red, you can make them light, you can make them orange, you can make them
Mm-hmm.
hazy. Just it's gotta be the IPA.
Right. There's one individual I interviewed a few weeks ago, and he made a quote that kind of stuck with me. Like, you could live 1,000 years and probably never make all the beer styles or combination of beer styles out there. Right. So I was like, yeah, no, that's a fair point. Right. So I really appreciated that from him. This is like a pro brewer hot take kind of question right here. So, what was the hardest style that you brewed to date?
Oh, man, let me think about I can go through some of the
Mm-hmm.
stuff I made. Oh, man. Let me look at my list of everything that I made. I've made a lot of stuff, and just gonna see. Oh, thing that I've been trying to nail,
Mm-hmm.
really just like nail down, is a really good like pumpkin beer. And I have not been able to figure that one out yet.
Okay.
I've done some I've done some uh good ones, but I haven't really got it to the point where I'm like, wow, that like where I wow myself with it.
So, are
So that
you
one's
trying to
been really hard.
target the pumpkin puree side or the pumpkin spice flavor or both?
Pumpkin spice flavor.
Gotcha.
And I'll probably say it's the hardest beer style for me because I only brew it once a year.
Yeah,
So whatever
makes
lesson I
sense.
learned, it takes me another year to apply that lesson that I learned from brewing it.
Mm, that's a valid point. Yeah, it's like making turkey. Most people only make it once a year, right? So some years is good,
Yeah,
some years it's
so
not.
yeah. So I think that's probably why it's the hardest. It's just that
Makes perfect
time in
sense.
between brewing it.
One thing every
Too
home
big.
brewer should learn from a pro brewer.
Um, Safety, I think.
Yeah, so
So
fair enough. Yeah,
sometimes we're dealing with boiling liquids, and some of the chemicals that we use are incredibly dangerous. Um, I don't know how many homebrewers are using stuff like beer line cleaner.
yeah.
Um,
Maybe half. Maybe I use it, but yeah,
yeah, yeah, that's sodium hydroxide. That's caustic. If that gets in your eye, you have to go to the hospital. So just being very careful about, and aware of that, and and boiling liquid splashing, on you, you can get hurt pretty bad. I wear safety glasses and steel-toe boots and gloves all the time whenever I'm brewing at work. So,
perfect.
um, I think that's a really big important thing to think
Mhm.
about whenever we're brewing.
Is there a brewing trend you'd like to see go away?
Yes.
Okay, wow. There we go. It's the hot take right here.
Smoothie IPAs, go away.
My God. So you're like the second or third person that said that. Like, I've actually
Really?
enjoyed smoothie IP. No,
Yeah,
I never made one, right? So like, I don't know all
yeah,
the details or costs for it was, but I had a strawberry milkshake smoothie up in
mhm,
Cincinnati that just blew my
nice.
socks off. It was so good. The weird thing was it was a old Catholic church. So me and my buddy
Oh,
Mike,
really?
we grew up Catholic, right? It's called the Taft
Yeah,
House is the name of the brewery. So we
I've
walk
been there.
in and we're looking
Yeah,
around for like the holy water, like we're supposed to where's the pews? We can't kneel and pray. Yeah, so it was like the best I've ever had. Now I've had some that were kind of gross, but why would you want to see that go away? I'm kind of curious.
and smoothie IPA, whenever I think of it, it's like you made an IPA and then you added a bunch of like fruit puree to it. It is my understand. And in my opinion, it's you added too much. Every smoothie IPA, it's been like, okay, you can have a fruited IPA and it still be good. Every smoothie IPA I've had is like, this is half fruit juice and half IPA, and I can barely even taste. In a lot of cases, I can't even taste the IPA taste of this beer at all.
No, I think yeah, it's true.
So those types of beers, I'm just like, you don't. I hate to. Now I'm gonna sound like a grumpy old brewer when I say this, but it's like at this point, you don't even like the taste of beer. You like the taste of whatever fruits, you
Right.
know. You can't, whenever the beer flavor is
Uh-huh.
masked so much by something else, that's whenever it starts to bother me because it's not beer at that point.
That's true.
It's
So it's kind of like a rattler, right? I mean, it's like half and half, like half lemon juice, half beer. Like, but it's a great summer drink, though.
yeah.
Is there a trend you'd like to see come back?
Um, I don't know. Uh, it's kind of coming back, I think already. It's just like kind of like the West Coast IPA.
Yeah,
I think it is coming back. It kind of went away with the hazy IPA craze, you know. But I just love a good, just like solid, golden color, 7%, 70 IBU IPA. Those are great.
yeah. I'm a little all over the place. I have mixed feelings about IPAs, if I'm going to be completely honest. Like, I don't like the ones that taste like pine sol.
Yeah.
I'm not on board with that. The ones that taste like a grapefruit bomb went off my mouth. I'm not a fan of that either.
Okay.
I like the weaker style IPAs. I don't even know what style that would be. Like, I mean, they're an IPA, but it's not. I don't even know what IBUs are. I can't even think of an example off the top of my head right now. I'm drawing a blank. Voodoo Ranger, I guess would be some that are pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. Voodoo Ranger's good.
They're definitely higher IBUs, but they have more of a fruit punch kind of flavor. I find. I think I
Yes.
like that a lot
Yes.
better than the other
Yeah.
ones. If not, I definitely go for more of like the American Pale Ale styles. I mean, like still hoppy, still hop forward, but just not as much hop in my face. That's kind of where I'm
Sure.
at. But I've had some
Do you
that were
like
pretty good. Good.
do you like Zombie Dust?
I've had it. I'm trying to
Have you
remember
ever had
now.
that?
I have had that. I'm trying to remember if I liked it or not. That's made by Three Floyds, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Three Floyds in Indiana.
No, I've not had that one. I'm sorry, I'm thinking of the Elysium.
Space Dust?
Yeah, Space Dust. I think is what I'm thinking of. Sorry,
Yeah.
I've had that one.
Do you like that one?
That was okay. Yeah, if it's cold, it's
Yeah.
gonna be. Once it starts to warm up, I'm not a big fan of it. So that's one
Okay.
I
Yeah.
kind of drink a little faster than normal. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, speaking of Three Floyds, I really love their Cocamunga. Oh,
But yeah.
I can get on board with that thing. So I'm gonna bring in my neighbor Tom. He lives a couple doors down from me. Tom's 76, I think, somewhere around there. And I split a
hmm
Cocamunga with him. And I told him, like, this is a 14% beer.
Yeah.
I said, take your time, sip on it, let it warm up. You're going to see things change. And he's like, he thinks, he was like, oh, I can feel it right here. I can feel the burn. It's like, that's a little strong. So he drank it faster than I drank mine. He's like, you got any more? I'm like, we'll just wait. See how you feel.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's give it some time because you basically just drank like 3 beers in one
Oh my gosh, yeah.
in one go.
Oh yeah, it was so much fun, so much fun. All right, so I'm gonna get to some final questions here, and then I promise I'll let you get back to your family, have a good time with them. I'm having a blast. Um,
Oh yeah, this is great.
so let's see. First question I kind of ask people: is there anybody else you would like to see me interview next? If you want, you can give them my information. We can go from there, or you can send me their information. I can reach out myself as well. I'd appreciate that.
Yeah. If does it have to be a pro brewer or
I
a
can be
home
anybody. It
brewer
doesn't
or
really matter. I'm open. I'm open up to hop farmers, malters, scientists, book authors, subject matter experts,
okay.
everybody. Um, when we finish this, I definitely want to talk to you just for a couple minutes off camera.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I got somebody in mind that I could send your way.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. Um, I don't. You didn't list any social medias, but you've listed your brewery like a couple times. If you want to give them like another plug, this would probably be the perfect time to do so.
Sure. St. Benedict's Brewworks in Ferdinand, Indiana. Small brew pub, 3 barrels, just focusing on Belgian beers. We also make IPAs and lagers, but, located on religious grounds, been there for 10 years, so we make great beer. They were making great beer before I got there, and I'm doing everything I can to make sure that the beer is just made to the highest standard and have a good time too, so
Perfect.
come visit.
So, is there any competitions coming up for you guys?
So there's the Indiana Brewers Cup that's coming up. So
Okay,
we're definitely gonna enter into that. We'll probably enter as many beers as we have on hand
I love
into
it.
that competition.
Heck yeah, might
I
as
think
well.
it's like 20, 10 or $20 for each beer, so I think
Oh,
we're
that's
gonna
not
enter that.
bad. Yeah, it's pretty.
Yeah,
Actually, pretty
yeah,
cheap actually.
yeah. It's I don't know if that's the exact right number, but I remember looking at it and
Oh,
being like, "Well, this is way way cheaper than GABF or something."
but yeah, I mean, why not? It'd
Yeah,
be perfect. Because there is it's not a Catholic brewery, but it's a German brewery. It's in Frankenmuth, Michigan. So probably about from you, I'd say probably a good drive, 7 hour drive, maybe 8 hour drive.
yeah,
But
yeah.
they've won all sorts of competitions, and their brew house is small. It's very tiny. It's not big at all, but make phenomenal German style beers for sure.
You can do it. Your processes gotta be tight.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta be focused, and you you don't have to have the fanciest or the newest equipment, but you
Mm-hmm.
do have to have every piece of equipment that you um, so you do need, you do need a glycol chiller. Do you need a brand new one? No, but you do need one.
Yeah.
And you do need to control your temperature on your fermentation. So,
Right.
um,
Right.
yeah. You can do it small. I know there's guys that have won massive awards
Yeah.
from tiny brewers.
Yeah, I think their big shtick is they're also like a pretty big restaurant. Like I said, they don't have a big brew house, but they sell a lot of food, and the food is just
Yeah.
so good too. So like, there's that as well too. But I was actually super shocked. I was there a few years ago how many awards they have won over the past 4 or 5 years. That's pretty impressive.
But yeah, I mean, Three Floyds was a 5-barrel brew house, and they
Yeah. Oh gosh,
Zombie
that's
Dust was
crazy.
like such a high rated beer for so long. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, Evan, I've had a pleasure chit chatting with you. We should definitely do this again in the future. Maybe after you like your Cicerone or finish up your certificates, maybe we talk about that process a little bit. That may be pretty interesting.
sure. Yeah, that sounds great. It's been awesome.
Hey, buddy, I've had a pleasure. It's good talking to you. Hopefully, we'll meet up again soon. See you, sir.
Awesome. Thank you.